Welcome to Blink 155, the internet's premier Paddington or Peter Rabbit review podcast. Dude. That's the
hell yeah.
How was it?
The movie whips ass. It's so good. I gotta say, like, it's the year. This year is giving us so much with like twee, anthropomorphic creature movies.
Yeah.
But where Paddington? I mean, I assume you haven't seen Paddington either.
No, I have not seen Paddington. I haven't seen. There's multiple Paddingtons, right?
There's two Paddingtons, and they're both fantastic. The second Paddington is even better than the first. I cannot begin to express how perfect Paddington 2 is.
I have a really tough time sort of constructing your media diet. Like, I feel like you probably have a pretty good idea of like what I like read and watch because I like tweet about how much they all shred and bang or whatever. But like,
yeah,
you seem to sort of voraciously consume from so many different festering piles of content.
It's true. I mean, I don't really get it either, but I watch shit all the time. I just like always watch everything. I'm like literally, my wife and I are currently now 2 episodes into the All the Small Things TV show. 'Cause I like put it on one night as a joke, and then she kind of got hooked on it, and so we keep watching it.
I mean, for people who didn't make it through the entire solo All the Small Things episode, I think some context. So you've been putting these videos up on the socials that are all from like a BBC series about an autistic kid who's obsessed with Blink-182 called All the Small Things.
It's about, and I actually was like, we'll have to one day. I think maybe next year we'll do a series of exclusives. I'd like to do it where we watch the episodes together, like Twitch style, with like videos of us in the corner,
and suggested a Twitch stream where we watch. But I noticed
next year this show turns 10. So assuming that we still have this pod, we'll do exclusive that next year, maybe.
Oh, that seems like a great way to recognize the anniversary of our favorite BBC series.
But this show, strangely, came out the same year as Glee, which has proven to be like the most cursed TV show of all time.
Yeah, everyone is like a bad person who then dies, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's that's a little bit reductive. One of them is just an addict who died. Oh, I think.
Sorry.
If that makes him a bad person to you.
Certainly doesn't. Addiction is a disease.
But yeah, no, this is also like a singing show where they sing pop songs. So it's All the Small Things, BBC. But it's about like a church choir. And in the first episode, spoiler alert, for no good reason, the man who like runs the church choir leaves his delightful wife for like a younger blonde woman who's better at singing. So they like break up like immediately. And then there's like 2 choirs competing, and the mom's choir that she starts, her autistic son who's obsessed with Tom DeLonge, he like kind of helps, and they turn it into a pop punk song. So the first episode they sing All the Small Things. Second episode they sing Swing Swing by All American Rejects.
Oh, that's a good song though.
It's like super like Glee arrangements, and it's like seriously so like I was like shivering from embarrassment while I was watching it, but I can't turn away. And each episode is a full hour long.
Oh my God.
And there's 6 episodes.
But this does speak to like a little bit of the sort of difference in our taste, which is you describing like a very Glee style, arrangement of Swing Swing sounds delightful to me. So right. I am very much looking forward to watching this and experiencing sort of real joy while you cringe and we twitch.
That's the thing. That's why I find your pop culture consumption similarly confusing, because you like things like Hamilton, but then I think you swing the pendulum the other way and you like performatively love black metal related things.
Yeah. Because
you want to like make, but for me it's like I love things that make me cringe, but then something like Paddington and Peter Rabbit as well. I mean, I'm all over. I haven't even gotten into my Peter Rabbit opinion yet.
It's true. We've been talking for 4 minutes around Peter Rabbit. So,
but my point is, these things are like so pure and just wonderful. And there's like no. It's like I can just turn off the part of my brain that loves irony and loves making fun of things, and I can just like be embraced by a warm hug from an animal, and then come home and see if anyone made erotic art of them on DeviantArt.
And did they?
You know, friend of the pod, Daniel, and I have strangely been making tons of jokes about wanting to have sex with Paddington on GChat in the last week. And I haven't really found too much, but I've definitely found some images that made him minimize his browser in his office.
Oh, there's a lot to unpack there. It's hard to know where to start, but I think to begin with, just the idea of you outing a friend of the pod as someone who spends time in the DMs talking about,
I don't know how it happened. We were like talking about which bears were the hottest. Like we both kind of figured that Rupert the bear is the hottest bear.
Who's Rupert?
You don't know Rupert?
I don't know
that
Rupert,
nice little
the
white bear who wears a
bear.
scarf. He's not sexual. We're sexualizing him.
Oh, you are sexualizing it. Okay, so wait, Rupert. What are they? Are they like just a famous bear, or is this bear a mascot for a product?
Rupert is like another. There's actually so many of these shows that are like. I think Rupert's British. They all seem British, and they're all just like so. Rupert is like this delightful white bear who wears a scarf, and he's like so innocent and pure.
So are there any other like animals, Josiah?
Well, here's the thing. I'm just gonna do us both a favor right now. We have a lot to get to, and I'm gonna say an animal, a nickname for a person who has a lot of sex that is an animal is the name Mutt. The first thing we forgot to do, the housekeeping, is we have officially released merch, or we're about to print merch.
That's right. You supporting us monthly via Patreon is no longer enough to satisfy the bottomless pit of hunger that is our respective greed. And so give us more money in exchange for a T-shirt where you will advertise our podcast to others who will hopefully also give us money.
Exactly.
Was that a good sales pitch, do you feel?
I think it's pretty good. There is one little issue that I haven't brought up with you yet. It's partly my fault, but it's mostly your fault. But I've noticed our branding is way off with our socials because we've had... So our Patreon, I believe, is Patreon/Blink155.
Right.
And then all of our like socials, because of... what was his name? Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan Walker? Is that the guy?
Doesn't that feel like a million years ago? Yeah, Ryan Walker, who actually has twitter.com/Blink155 and has only tweeted twice.
But I have noticed that Papa of the Pod, Bill Billingsley, who's also on the shirt, he follows Ryan Walker now. So
Does he? Good. I hope Ryan Walker's getting like alerts to his email or whatever. Congrats, you got a new phone. Come back to Twitter, Ryan Walker.
Oh, what is this horrible world we've built?
So the world is now
because
physical.
of Ryan Walker, we've had Blink155 Pod.
Yeah.
Is our Twitter, and it's also our Instagram. So the Twitter and Instagram is Blink155 Pod. Mm-hmm. Patreon is Blink155. Now, I don't know if there's already a Blink155 Pod on BigCartel.com, right. But I noticed that when you made our page. You made it even longer.
Well, okay, listen. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but we're using some friends of ours have a merch store, a merch company. They do screen printing and they run like online stores for bands and stuff. And so I leaned on them pretty heavy to just like set things up so that we could like fulfill orders and know that they'd actually get mailed out because neither you or I are responsible enough to actually operate a merch store. And so one of their employees set up this Big Cartel and sent me the link. He's like, hey man, here, I registered this for you. And I thought, oh, like Blink155 podcast.bigcartel.com. Like, was Blink155 not available? Like,
exactly. But
yeah,
I kind
questions.
of, I want to go with it. So I think the next time we sign up for something, I'm going to actually spell out 155 in the URL. So it'll be Blink 155.
So people can go to Blink155, thepodcast.bigcartel.com, or just look at our socials. The shirt, I think, is sick. It's like a pocket tee. It's black and white. And then it's got a photo on the back of Tom himself from the band Blink-182, pointing at Papa of the Pod, Bill Billingsley, wearing a sort of 50-50 DIY at Blink155 Pod shirt. But it should have said Blink155 podcast.bigcartel.com on it, but that is, that ship is sailed. It's too late.
he could have predicted. That would have been amazing if he had predicted the big cartel URL.
I know. Well, he's you, so it's entirely possible.
Oh no, not this again. There's too much world building going on.
I know. I don't want to get into it. The
Okay.
point is, we have shirts. They're fucking sick. Like, I actually do think that we managed to make like a cool podcast shirt. So if you like podcast shirts,
No, I think if you don't like podcast shirts, but you like cool merch,
Yeah, that's
this is
true.
the one for you. And hopefully
better.
people will buy it because I have so many merch ideas. So
Yeah.
hopefully this is just the start.
If you spend a couple of shekels on this shirt, like, you're really investing in a future.
A streetwear brand, like we're gonna be like the new No Wave or whatever, or like the new fucking Palace. That's the goal here.
No, okay, I don't know any. Of
We're
these.
gonna be like a hype beast company.
Yeah, I'm like Supreme. I know.
Right.
I only know the normie cool guy brands. So.
Okay, so along these lines,
Along what
I'm sorry
lines?
of sort of talking about things that have happened in the last week. We didn't even realize this happened organically, but this is literally a sequel to last week's episode. Like these songs are weirdly connected.
Yeah, as we were talking about Voyeur last week, you kind of kept telling me to like put a pin in various thoughts that I was attempting to form. And I don't remember what any of those thoughts are, but I'm sure we'll still find a way to talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, there's a chance that this one will be 4 hours long. So the song is Mutt by Blink hyphen 182.
Yeah.
By the way, when did the hyphen become like canon? Because I don't think they've always had a hyphen.
No, and something else that I find occasionally confusing is like the B is lowercase sometimes, like in official sort of material, but not all the time. So I don't know if those things are connected in terms of canon spellings, but
I'm seeing on Yahoo Answers someone had asked the question about the hyphen, and I guess Mark had written it that way with lowercase and the hyphen on his old blog, HiMyNameIsMark.com. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like, because I'm a complete fucking nerd. It does bother me when things are inconsistent like that.
Yeah.
Like it bugs me because like, for example, Jay-Z keeps. Did you know Jay-Z had an umlaut in his name when he first came out? Like, it was even on the Space Jam soundtrack. Jay-Z had an umlaut over the A.
Really? And so then when you pronounce it like jaw, like how would you pronounce it then? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, and then
Jowzy? I don't know.
I should look this up because I think it was originally Jaws or something. Like, it was like kind of weird.
Or do you think he was just like influenced by Motorhead?
I mean, who isn't?
That was just him, sort of like, a little tip of the SS cap that is just a historical relic that I'm fascinated by, not actually a sign that I'm a Nazi sympathizer.
When the Black Album came out or something, or around in 2013, Jay-Z like literally released a press release like, I'm dropping the hyphen from Jay-Z. Like, who gives a fuck?
Well, you do.
Why
apparently.
would you do that? I guess I do, but it's like, just make up your mind and keep it that way. So he dropped the hyphen, and then in 2017 with the new album, he's like, I'm adding the hyphen again, but also my name is all caps now. And then, so now at work, I have to deal with my editor Brock, who some of these listeners will know who he is, and he's always like, you didn't capitalize all of Jay-Z. You're supposed to capitalize it now. It's like, jeez.
Okay, so
just shit to worry about.
Just to reiterate, you did tell me that this was a song that there was a lot to talk about regarding, right? Okay, so just wanted to sort of put that thought back in your brain at this point, as you sort of really get into the nuts and bolts of how editing works at Exclaim magazine.
You get into the difference of like a hyphen and an M dash, and then there's like the N dash.
There's an M and an N dash.
Yeah, different lengths, bro. It's like the length of the letter determines the.
So wait, there's what? But okay, I get that. But I thought there was a hyphen and an M dash. But you're saying there's 3 different dashes.
There's at least 3 different dashes.
I'm looking at my keyboard right fucking now, and I'm seeing 1 dash and an underscore that I sometimes think is a dash.
Well, no, you have to
You're
learn like the
fucking messaging me
hotkeys.
Chicago Manual of Style shit right now. This is insane. Tell me about Mutt. Tell me about the song Mutt by Blink-182. God fucking damn it.
I think I love to tell you that there's a lot to talk about and then just like torture you with it.
I know you do. Tweeting about the goddamn gray fucking blanket video, just ruining my life on every medium that I use to escape. So,
Sam, let's pick up where we left off and start off with the topic of sex crimes this week. I think that's a good sort of easy entry point.
Yeah, great. Yes, let's do that.
Something that you know a lot about. I
have not said the name of anyone on this podcast who's subsequently been accused of a sex crime in weeks. So,
well, let's drop some names. Let's drop some names this week.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I guess to start things off, the reason that we picked this song is because I knew we were going to have our guest this week, who is Sunny Side Up, like this massive Instagram meme creator who like always does pop punk memes.
Yeah, this is clearly a Josiah guest episode because there's a meme lord. So
exactly, yeah. But so I said like. He had told me he wanted to do an Enema song, and then he asked to do Aliens Exist, and I'm like, sorry, that we have a promise ring on that song.
We're saving ourselves,
special.
buddy. Yeah,
there's something really special for that one. So he said he wanted to do Mutt, and he told me the main reason he wanted to do it, which you mentioned last week, American Pie, the appearance in American Pie.
Yeah.
So I have to, and I say this later on too, but whatever. I mean, we can repeat everything. I'll say this 6 fucking times, but I've actually never seen American Pie all the way through.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, everyone's seen American Pie, like multiple times.
Oh, not everyone.
Well, this is like some contrarian shit. Like how it was a couple episodes ago when you said you had a very snotty Death Cab opinion, and it was literally just I like their earlier albums. I mean.
I actually don't have. It's not because of that. What year did American Pie come out?
I feel like I was maybe in the 9th grade because it's sort of seared into my memory for a couple of reasons. One is that I worked at a band camp, which we've discussed previously on the pod.
Yeah, like you love to talk about working at this band camp
because it was like just some of the best days of my life. And
I know people talk. Yeah, there's like a band camp thing that people always reference from this, right?
Everyone knows the band camp thing that they reference from this.
What is it thing. Like one time at band? What's the line?
That's it.
Because I know I've said it before.
Yeah,
I said like one time, and then someone's like, "Oh, one time at band camp."
Yeah,
like, people. I remember.
It basically was like a Borat thing where like I kind of think that American Pie like was a good. Like in the mold of like a Porky's. Again, a lot of movies that we talked about on the Voyeur pod, like this sort of classic teen sex comedy thing. I'm sure it hasn't aged well. Like I'm sure if I watched it now, I'd be mortified by the sort of like presumably regressive sexual politics. Although even that joke is about like a woman, like being in control of her own sexuality. So yeah, maybe it's actually more progressive than I give it credit for.
To clarify, I think aesthetically, I love American Pie. What I can tell about it, I think it looks like very hip right now, very cool. It seems to be along kind of the streetwear late 90s, early 2000s, like the perfect baggy jeans and ball bearing necklace ringer tee kind of look. Yeah. Like it's cool. But I just never saw it because I think it came out around the time when like, I think I was like either too young or like I was hanging out with youth group kids all the time. And I remember there was so much press about like how filthy it was that
shit.
I think I was like too like vanilla around that time to watch this.
Wow. You were too much of a prude to see American Pie.
Yeah. Like I don't think I was against it. I just think,
well, I guess that was a normie
I think I was just never
in
I think watching American Pie is pretty normie too.
That's what I sort of dialed it back, but just the idea of being puritanical. Like I feel like
like not by
often,
not my choice necessarily, but no. I think like my mom used to like we'd go to the video store and my mom would pick what we'd watch when we had a sleepover or whatever,
and she would not pick like a sex comedy.
Yeah, like I feel like I think one time we were watching Mallrats and she got like pretty mad. She's like, "You're too young to watch. Like you shouldn't be watching this."
She doesn't think like stink palming Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer is cool or funny.
I don't remember any references to it, but I like the logo for Mallrats. But yeah, I mean, yeah. I think this is a glaring like missing chapter in my life as like a mouth breathing like human. Like I think that I am like Beavis and Butthead personified, but I've just missed out on like a specific era of dumb, idiotic comedy.
Yeah, well, I'm sure, there are some people who listen to this podcast who, know you in real life or maybe follow you on one of your personal socials and have a sense of what you look like. But for anyone who doesn't know what Josiah looks like, maybe a year or two ago, an artist created like a sort of model, like a 3-dimensional sort of sculpture of what Beavis and Butthead would look like if they were real people. And they look, that's what Josiah looks like. Google those, and that you can just sort of imagine those people talking about, I don't know, nonsense for
It's true.
90 minutes, and that's Josiah.
Like sometimes I think like maybe as an adult I should get into whippets. Like maybe I should learn how to do whippets.
I think that would be a really interesting hobby to develop as a person who's become straight edge in the last year and like was never, to my knowledge, a heavy drug user to begin with.
No, yeah, not at all. I've like smoked weed like twice in my life when I had insomnia. And it didn't really work.
There you go.
So I think, but I think maybe I should learn how to do like the knockout game on myself or whippets or like, I don't know, one of these more innocent things.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
American Pie,
Sunnyside,
you haven't seen.
Sunny Side Up chose this, and I had never seen it. So I've seen like little clips here and there, and I think I've watched it maybe on Much Music with like it heavily censored, and it seemed really bad. But I think it's because I was missing all the juicy stuff. But I looked up this scene featuring Blink-182, and it makes literally no sense, and it's horrible.
I mean, I don't remember. Like, I probably saw American Pie a handful of times in high school when it came out, and it was like seemed like crazy that they were able to make a movie that vulgar for like our demographic. I mean, it's like there's a lot of nudity there. Like, I mean, there is a scene where a guy fucks a pie. Like, that's a real like, and you see his ass thrusting into the pie. Like, it's like in The Room, how people find like the movement of Tommy Wiseau's buttocks to be like hilarious and disturbing. Like, you get that in American Pie,
right? And that's also very prescient because this year the big Oscar movie is Call Me by Your Name, and I've only watched half of it because it's really boring and really overrated. But there is apparently a scene coming up where he fucks a piece of fruit as like
spoiler
some sort of
alert,
big climactic scene. It's also in the book
climactic
too, I guess.
Scene.
And then in Girls Trip as well, there was a grapefruit-related sex joke. So I think American Pie really brought fucking food to the mainstream, and in the last year, it's become maybe more of a prestigious thing to put in your films.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I also.
But yeah,
okay.
So you don't remember the scene? I guess
No.
it's if you want to look at it, it's not going to line up with the audio, but you can get a look, and I'll play the audio over here. It's only like a minute long, so let's check out the scene, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Hello?
Looks like Jim addressed the email wrong.
What?
It went out to every mailbox in the East High directory. God, how juvenile.
Hey, guys. Check this out. Oh, my God. That guy's in my trig class.
Oh, no. Go, Trig boy. It's your birthday. No.
Please, come on.
It's bad.
Come on. What's going on? Yes!
All right. Get in the mix.
Jim?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh.
Not before, dude.
Houston, we have a problem. Yeah. All right. Yeah. He's really engaging.
Okay, so you just played
what we have is
basically like 2 minutes of like dance music with like the occasional reaction from Mark Hoppus.
Well, you get the final edit, so
How am I going to cut that?
Edit it if you want. I don't know. Write down the time code. Not my problem.
Okay.
Not my problem. But anyways, the point is, so this is maybe we actually should edit part of that if you want.
No, but like at least I would like you to describe what you think is happening in that scene, because I suspect that I don't really have a good sense of like the demographic that would like listen to this podcast, but I suspect it is people who have seen American Pie and maybe are like ultimately going to be familiar with the plot and that scene. So like, what do you think is going on in that moment?
Well, I think here's the part that I think is sketchy, is that I feel like he set up a webcam to show his friends this girl naked without her consent. And I saw a different scene where it was like he knew she was going to be in that room, so he like set up a webcam so that he could like spy on her change or like film them having sex without her consent. That seems kind of sketchy, no? Isn't that kind of shitty to do?
Yeah.
Is that what's happening?
I mean, that definitely would be a sex crime. You know, now that you're describing it, maybe that is what happens. I'm realizing I don't know. I mean, basically, I don't think the webcam is supposed to be on in that moment. Or maybe it is. Maybe he's trying to show his friends that he's going to have sex with this woman. So, yeah.
Well, I think it sounds like using the context that I provided orally that you are making fun of, but it's so important, actually.
Yeah.
It sounds like
sends the link out to too many people. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but at least he was trying to show somebody this thing. And unless she was in on it, like if she's like a cam girl or something, then that's one thing. Then she's empowered. But it seems like there's some shitty power stuff going on.
Yeah.
Here.
I don't think she is aware. And you're right. No, this is so okay. American Pie represents regressive sexual politics. I take back my earlier.
I mean, no shit
comment.
though. That's like pretty fucking obvious from a distance. But I guess what I'm mostly confused about is like, well, first of all, were webcams even that good back then? Like those computers look ancient and so shitty. Like you would use them to do MS Paint on them, not to watch a sex crime unfold.
I mean, if you watch the video as it's being streamed to other people's computers, it is like the latency is high.
Right.
I mean, and at best, that looks like maybe it's like a sort of like 5 frame per second, you know, kind of.
It's like a real video sort of.
It could be a real video situation, but it's true. I mean, I don't remember the first time I watched something live stream on the internet, but it probably was not in 1999.
Right. So that's my first thing. My second thing is like, why is the band Blink-182 just jamming in someone's room? And also, why do they have a pet monkey with them? That's what I'm really confused about. And Sunny Side Up could also not explain this.
Yeah, this is making me feel like I need to rewatch American Pie, which is not an emotion that I expected that I would have as like a 32-year-old man. But, you know, here we are.
Well, it is definitely a specific emotion that can be felt.
Yeah, happiness, sadness, wanting to watch American Pie as a 32-year-old. The presence of Blink is extremely confusing, but I think the technology, you know, a lot of people sort of point to American Pie, you know, in the same way that they look to, say, the writings of Philip K. Dick, films like Blade Runner, where it's incredible how prescient these works of art are. So, you know, Blade Runner.
So you're thinking American Pie is like sci-fi, pretty much.
Yeah, or that it deserves to sort of be held up alongside these other sort of great pieces of sort of science fiction and speculative fiction that have very accurately sort of cast forward and said, this is the sort of dystopian future that we're going to be living in. And so the fact that in American Pie you have, you know, easy access to streaming online, going out to all of your classmates or whatever, sex crimes. I mean, 2018 is nothing if not just like
is this
the
like
year
did they
of the
invent
sex crime.
Is this the invention of revenge porn?
Oh, that's interesting. What was the name of that guy that ran like the big revenge porn website and is like a cartoon villain? He's got a villain name. It's like Hunter or something.
Yeah, and I think he's actually has some ties to like emo, like post-hardcore people. He's probably friends with fucking Brand New or whatever.
He's definitely got like a sort of like weird meme page. You'll eventually interview him for the pod somehow.
Yeah, probably. So I don't know. I mean, I think that it was just basically like Blink-182 were just like shoehorned into the plot, right? Like there's no logical explanation that they're in this guy's room. Like,
I don't think so. No,
I'm not missing something.
No, not. But like, look, someone who's watched the movie more recently might sort of be correcting us in real time as they listen to this conversation unfold right now on social.
Yeah,
but
that's always frustrating, I guess, to hear that.
Yeah, but sorry. Like, look, we've got a podcast and you don't, so
yeah, sorry.
Fuck off, I guess.
So fuck you. Eat shit, loser.
Oh, but please buy a t-shirt.
Yeah. And
I don't think there's any logic. I think it's just one of those things where the soundtracks were super important to all these movies, right? I mean, like Clueless has Mighty Mighty Boss Tones on the soundtrack and then randomly in a party scene when it's highly unlikely that a ska core band would have been performing at a party in the Valley, you know, at that time. I think this must have been a thing that major labels did. I mean, Real Big Fish being in basketball, like.
But those things still, it's like, oh, there's a reason they're performing. Like, I just feel like if I had seen this when I was young, I would not be able to suspend disbelief that Blink-182 is just hanging out in someone's room while they're trying to watch 5 frame a second revenge porn on their shitty computer.
I mean, if you were watching this at that age, your brain had been so rattled by like numerous scenes of nudity,
right?
You know, like sex stuff happening. Like you were not
yet,
like using your teen brain to think about the logic of Blink-182 being present.
And yet, because I didn't watch it at such a young, impressionable age, I'm able to see it with some distance now and recognize the sex crimes instantly. Whereas for other people, maybe...
Whereas I was like, that scene's sick. I love Jason Biggs.
But also the
Natalie?
presence of the monkey. The presence of the monkey makes me think, like, is this like I feel like in the late 90s it was like Pray for Mojo on The Simpsons. Like, was it just like monkeys were really funny? Like, people are just like, let's put a monkey in it. That'll be a joke.
Well,
there's a monkey.
Friends had a monkey as a main character for a season, right? I mean...
Yeah, so it's just like monkey time.
Yeah, this was sort of in the era of... this was monkey season, I guess, in 1999 when everyone had a monkey.
Before we get to the actual placement on the soundtrack, so Mark talked to Kerrang! Magazine about this in 2014 about their actual like appearance. Here's this quote: "It was really cool being on there. I think Tom actually read to be one of the characters. The "Go Trig Glory, it's your birthday" line in the movie I completely made up on the spot. Stuff that I ad-libbed made it into the movie." So that's a real big major ad lib.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
I'm actually, that makes me wonder if he's trained at UCB or the Groundlings or something, because that's really that's a yes and moment for the ages.
Maybe we should really sort of return to my original goal for this podcast, which was to get Mark on it. So that he can partake in one of our witty improv games, this long form improv that we do.
That'd be good. That'd be really good. But yeah, other than, I mean, well, I don't know. What do you think of that?
I mean, I like when you sort of dumped a fact on me that like, there's no way to really have an opinion on it, but so that you don't ultimately feel that you are just rhetorically railroading me through this entire podcast, you'll start to move on and then retreat briefly to say, what do you think of that? And I'll say, I don't know, it's sick. Whatever.
Well, I have like 1,000 words in a text edit document, and I'm really excited to talk about them all. And I also, every time I read an embarrassing quote from Mark, I want to make fun of him for like 3 minutes straight. So then I try to give myself an out where it's like, maybe Sam will say, oh, that's great that he improv'd that piece of shit line. That was actually the worst part of this. The part of the scene that aged the least well.
Yeah. Well, the part of the scene that aged the least well is the sex crime being committed. But the second is absolutely, the improv.
Well, the sex crimes, like you said, are still very timely, but no one does that. Go something. It's your birthday. Like, that's over. Sex crimes are still around.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, cool.
Quick thing
good
about
opinion that we've got here.
The other thing about that little fact that he said Tom read to be one of the characters. I don't know if this will come up again. It probably will somehow, but Tom DeLonge actually is in the movie Idle Hands. Like, he has like a 5-second cameo.
Really?
Yeah, so there's like a chance that Tom DeLonge almost could have become like a teen movie actor in the 2000s.
Teen movie actor is such a strange sort of phrase, but like I know what you're saying, like an actor in teen movies. But do you think there was like any beef with him being in that movie with The Offspring? Because that's another movie, another teen movie that had a band, and of course Dr. Dexter Holland, famously has the top of his skull ripped off by the titular hand, the idol one.
See, I don't think I've seen this movie in its entirety either, but I would like to watch this.
Idle Hands is fucking sick.
Well, you know what? Tom's cameo is only 11 seconds long, so we may as well, because I don't know if it's going to tie to another song or not. So let's go for it.
Well, yeah.
Break time. All right. Yeah, give me the big 5 with the spicy safari.
That's it. He says order up. That's it. He works at a fast food restaurant and says order up.
That's so weird.
So it's like super, like it's probably not even worth continuing on with, but so this is 99. So then it would make sense around the same time he was probably reading for roles.
Wow. I wonder, like what happens if all of the sort of idle time that Tom had that ultimately got sort of channeled into UFOs and traveling through time had instead gone into films. And I know he's making films with To the Stars, but like as a film star. I mean, if he became like pop punk Rollins or something,
Yeah, but I do think that a lot of these actors, I mean, think about like Ethan Embry or something. Like, I feel like he was such a star at one time, and then he just sort of, I mean, he's still around, but it's not like.
Well, he was he was in this sick movie that I just watched called Devil's Candy. That's like the guy that made The Loved Ones. It's like Australian horror director, and he is like unrecognizable. He's got this big beard, and he's covered in tattoos, and all he does is listen to like metal with his cool daughter. And then he gets like kind of possessed by the devil, I guess, or he can hear the devil.
Like, I feel like if Tom had continued on with his teen movie sort of college years movies, he would now be a genre film actor who's like going to obscure festivals in Calgary, and I would be meeting him every year because it'd be like, oh, there's another fucking Tom DeLonge movie.
You'd be over it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like he'd be like Eddie Furlong or something now, although Eddie Furlong's story is a lot darker than that. But
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
a guy that you used to idolize that you're just like, oh, I can't believe he's still, like, where are they now sort of thing. So it's probably for the best that Tom didn't become a teen actor.
Okay, well, that's good. I'm glad we can both sort of be happy for Tom and where he is in his life.
I think my biases are too strong because I'm always happy for Tom and I'm always making fun of quotes from Mark.
Yeah, it's true. You're like, he really did something good in his life, and you're like, fucking Mark. It's because I don't know. Let's unpack that at another time. Continue with your text document.
I think it's because Tom is currently a little bit of an underdog.
Yeah,
right, maybe
true.
that's why.
I think that's good.
Yeah. So this, we haven't even mentioned the placement of Mutt in the movie. But it's pretty interesting, actually, because there was a version of Mutt. Before we recorded, I messaged you to say, which version did you listen to? Because I knew you were listening on YouTube. And when I Googled it, this other version actually is the first one that pops up when you Google it. But this is the only song that Blink-182 officially demoed with Mark Trombino before Enema of the State. So there's a version of this that's studio quality that Scott Rayner is playing on.
Well, yeah, like I didn't realize this until I went to listen to the song before we record, and the first version that came up on YouTube or whatever was that, and I was thinking in my head, I was like, fuck this song. I always knew that I liked the song. And then listening back to it, and I'm like kind of trying to like formulate some thoughts. I'm like, well, really what I love about this song is that it sounds like it could have been a Dude Ranch song. And then as soon as Tom started singing, I was like, this is a different version.
So that's
so
why I was like,
yeah,
because it says original version, you'd think like, oh, it's the album version. This is the one I'll listen to, and I'm like, what if we go into this episode and Sam has only heard the Scott Rayner version?
No, I mean I'm primarily familiar with the one that's actually on Enema, and I kind of wasn't thinking about it. Obviously, it's a little different off the top. You don't have the fucking big Travis fill that starts off the song, but the melody's a little bit different, and obviously Tom's voice is a little less like compressed, like it sounds like less of a kind of commercial pop record. And
let's play a little bit of it.
Okay, yeah.
And also, I guess this would be a good time to say another thing that people keep gabbing away about online is, why don't we play the full song at the start of the episode? And like, the simple answer is we just don't want to get sued. Right? I mean, is that safe to say?
We haven't licensed it. Even the fact that we're playing 10 seconds of it is not technically okay.
Well, you don't need to say that part out loud.
And I mean, the other thing is, like, look, last week's episode, for example, was 2 hours long. It was ostensibly about Voyeur, and I would guess that we spent 20 minutes talking about Voyeur. So there's a really good chance that if you listen to this podcast, you don't really care about Blink-182. And I don't know why you can pause it. You can open up another app on your phone.
That's what I was going to say. Like, people always say, like, how come you don't put it in there? Like, what am I supposed to do? Here's what you do. So you just take, preferably, I'm going to say your index finger on whichever hand is your dominant hand. Just sort of hover it around. You'll find a button that's a triangle. And then if you tap that, it turns into two pillars, and that means that the podcast is paused. And now that you're free from that, you can navigate anywhere you want, and the podcast is not going to disappear, and it's not a live show, so it's not going to like just continue playing when you're visiting somewhere else to listen to the song. So it's really actually quite simple, and we're not talking to you on the phone live while you're listening. It's a previously recorded thing, so you can pause it and listen to the song and then come back and it'll be totally fine.
I like how you're telling people how they can escape the pod. I was sort of thinking to myself, I was like, ooh, maybe you're going to drop some hints for how I can possibly free myself from this cage of my own creation.
You're here forever.
Yeah. Earlier, you did make a sort of offhanded comment about something that we might do if we were still doing the podcast in a year. And I thought, like, what do you know that I don't know?
Yeah, I don't know why I said that, because I was only referring to, I guess, if we die or if the world ends.
Right, yeah. Well, we've already...
Because I'm obviously in this for good. Like, I have not once regretted this. Is that scary?
No, it's not scary and it's not surprising. I will say that. So
okay, let's listen to Scott. So
Raynor
here's
version,
Scott playing on Mutt.
That
Love it.
Fuck.
Yeah, I even like the harm.
Of course you do. You're still a human. You still got blood pumping through your blades. You got red
harmon.
blood in your guts. Blood. Fuck. That was so good. It's so good. It actually really bums me out. Like, after listening to that and then going and listening to the proper album version, it was a reminder of how disappointed I was the first time I heard Enema. Like, that it just,
That's true.
It lacked... And so this is such a perfect, like, some of it feels intangible. I mean, obviously it's produced differently and it's a different set of songs, and maybe just as a collection of songs it's not as strong. But to literally have an apples to apples, like, this is what a song would sound like with Scott, and this is the song kind of with Travis, and sort of run through a tighter production machine. Like, fuck, man. Like, that version is so good.
I sort of think that it's kind of what we were talking about last week too, where, like, well, first of all, I got to say, I actually don't love this song, and this was one of the ones I would skip. Like, I still really like it, and I still find myself getting addicted to the melody. Mm-hmm. But when I first listened to this album, this was a song that I would always skip.
Wow!
But hearing this version, I love it so much more, and I had never heard this version until today. But I think that it's an example of what we were talking about last week, where if you take a Dude Ranch song and put Travis on it, then it just starts to sound too ridiculous. Like, Voyeur gets too shuffly or whatever. And I did always find that the drums are, like, too wanky on this song.
Yeah, like, the intro's, like, flashy and all the stuff in the bridge. And, I mean, it's a lot. And it's that time where, like, the only snare that Travis is using is that, like, piccolo thing. And so on a song like this, it cuts so much, and there's so much, like, snare play throughout. I find it quite distracting.
The echoing tom vocals on the Enema version have that, like, phone talking on the phone filter or whatever. Like, it's just too much. And I feel like I guess I always thought that they were trying to polish a turd a little bit, where it's, like, such a simple, dumb song, but then they made it way too high production value. But then when you hear it just, like, sort of Dude Ranch style, it's so much better. Yeah, because they're not trying to make it into something that it's not.
I feel like this would have been, like, a great song on Dude Ranch. Like, this song would hold up alongside any of the, like, particularly strong songs, like, you know, Dick Lips or something. Like, this could be a song like that. And instead it does feel like it's sort of a forgotten, like, latter part of Enema song. Although I gather that you have a lot of covers, so maybe I'm just wish casting here.
Well, I think I think it being in American Pie made it a hit regardless. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But so here's the interesting thing about it, and I'm a little bit confused because I see this version of Mutt being credited to Mark Trombino, but I also have read that so they were going to put this on the American Pie soundtrack, and so they went into the studio to record it for American Pie, and this is where they first met Jerry Finn.
Oh shit!
for this project. So that's what like started that relationship, was this song.
Wow. So I mean, thanks, Mutt. I think ultimately there were some good things that came out of it, but it does make me feel like there's an alternate universe. Like a parallel universe, part of the multiverse, whatever the phrases are that I'm supposed to use. Like, if Damn It doesn't hit the way Damn It hits, and they get sort of, I guess, reprioritized like within a label and sort of given bigger budgets and sort of pushed in sort of different directions and end up making an album like Enema, like, is there a follow-up to Dude Ranch that's the same? Because Enema has great fucking songs on it, but like has those kinds of songs, but recorded like this, like what, like that makes me mad when I think about an album of Enema songs recorded like in this style, just like a little more representative of the era of this band that obviously I love the most.
But the other weird thing about it is that I agree with you, and I always kind of hated on Enema for that reason, but then I feel like they sort of like mastered the slickness by the time it got to Take Off Your Pants, because that album, they sound comfortable and they almost sound like they're not trying so hard again. Like it sounds like they're going back to, it sounds like a natural feel. Like I feel like Enema is like this weird awkward phase where they're trying too many things at once and it's too polished and slick.
Yeah, I think you kind of nailed it when you were shitting on the telephone effect in the kind of repeating tom vocal, because that stuff is, I mean, there's tricks and stuff happening on Take Off Your Pants, but Enema has so much of this stuff, and it subsequently feels like very dated. Like the sort of like little kind of audio tricks that are there to try to like sweeten up often pretty kind of simple songs. And then by the time, like, yeah, they're more comfortable. They're probably more comfortable with Jerry. They're more comfortable with Travis. That record's great. And then you get the like really experimental shit where it sounds nuts, but that's because it's like deliberate and part of what they're doing, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. And it's weird too, because I get Sam syndrome where whenever we're listening to a certain song, I usually love it. Like I think that sometimes I think Enema is my favorite, but then I'm kind of in a phase right now where I'm like seeing the problems with it, especially thinking about this song.
Yeah, this is a song that's good, but in a side-by-side comparison, it's like the version that is actually officially released and on their biggest record is like such a dud by comparison. Right.
So I guess let's actually, since this is a sequel to last week's episode. So last week, the other thing I told you to put aside was this Australian performance. You had mentioned that Mark was wearing a wig.
Yeah, it was weird. So this was like a video of them on like, it looks like the sort of Australian version of a what was the Musique Plus 1 2 3 Punk or whatever. I don't know what.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, so Mark's wearing a wig, and some people think that this is like the first appearance of the boomer character that Tom DeLonge becomes in the First Day video.
Oh.
Like they think that maybe they just kept this wig and then that inspired them to, I don't know, it's hard to say.
Wow, that's interesting. Because, I mean, truly, if Mutt is responsible for us getting what I think is honestly one of the greatest reaction gifts of all time, which is Thomas Boomer mouthing "What the fuck," like that alone actually makes me think that Tom should have been a teen movie actor, because
yeah, that's actually true.
He delivers that moment like it's a truly perfect reaction gif. Like it has like so much going on, and it's such a specific what the fuck. Like it's not, there's many ways to what the fuck, and he's captured in that moment a sort of iteration of what the fuck that I have never seen executed better ever.
It's so true. And I also wonder, do you think when people film movies that the storyboard artists like think about what's gifable at this point? Like, do you think they plan gifs now?
I bet certain types of movies I've never thought about that, but I mean, they think about everything, right? Like you think about, you can cast someone who doesn't seem that famous, but is from like some other weird niche thing. And you're like, oh, cast someone who does voices on My Little Pony and you'll get bronies to come watch this movie. And then you do targeted marketing to each of those like each of those like little tiny fan communities. So I mean, it's
Well,
a way
actually,
that movies get cast at this point. So.
Yeah, that's true. It did get leaked that Pixar, was it Pixar or just Disney? But that movie Zootopia, they had
they
actually
marketed to
been
furries, right?
Yeah, they were targeting furry communities. Like, that's amazing. That's how I found out about it.
Yeah, you're on looking up.
But since I have it open,
Yes.
let's hear a little bit of what this. So this is with Scott again. So like this song was already. It must have been written like right when Dude Ranch came out, or like maybe it was even written in time for Dude Ranch. I don't know.
It sounds like a song from that era, and I know like I'm just saying it because there's a version of it, but like it doesn't sound out of place. Whereas like Going Away to College, there's no like Scott Raynor, Mark Trump, version of that would sound like it belongs on Dude Ranch.
Yeah, totally. Okay, here we go.
This song's called Mutt.
Oh fuck!
I love that this, like, as opposed to imagining the kind of shit that Travis does, which, like, let's be honest, maximalism is fun. Like, Travis is like the Michael Bay movie of drummers, basically.
I love
and it's super
big,
fun.
dumb movies. I love Travis. Like, look it.
Yeah, there's a lot to love, but what I will say is that in a song like this, watching this video, all that Scott does to mix it up is occasionally at random times switch from the hi-hat to the crash for his ride.
But it's not like a verse chorus thing. It is truly at random.
Yeah, it's so great. He's like, I should probably fucking mix it up at this point.
Hearing that song without the like rhythm guitar part too is so good. Like I love this era of like these riffs, and a lot of the way these songs sound live is like when you pull out that rhythm guitar and it's just the bass and the riff. Like it's like it has like a very kind of like specific kind of like tone to it that is so unique to like this band at this time, and I fucking love it, man.
Yeah, I agree. It's really cool, and anyways, I wasn't sure if I should play this, but you actually mentioned Musique Plus.
Yeah.
And last week we were talking about how Canadian media like has embraced so much more interesting things earlier on. And so here's Blink playing Mutt on
Musique Plus?
There's footage of them playing it on Musique Plus, but I skipped ahead to after the song so you can just hear Mark do funny banter with the host. I don't remember her. I can't really remember Musique Plus that well. I remember occasionally switching to it to see like cool videos like Air Sexy Boy with the monkey. That song is sick. Yeah, monkey. It's all about monkeys.
This is it, man. This is monkey season again. We didn't get it, but yeah, for people who are not from Canada, Music Plus if you're Josiah, or Musique Plus if you're a well-cultured gentleman such as myself, was like the French version of Much Music, which was like the Canadian version of MTV. But it had more genre stuff because, like, Quebec, for people who aren't Canadian, Quebec is like impossible to explain. But like, Quebec is just
I feel like even
man.
For someone who lives in Western Canada, Quebec is very confusing and strange.
Yeah, exactly. They tried to leave a bunch of times. At various points, like separatist parties within the province have kidnapped and murdered politicians that didn't support separatism. Like people like are like, oh, meanwhile in Canada,
and if you look at a map
fucked
too,
up, man.
If you look at a map, like the thought of Quebec separating is so hilarious.
It's truly funny. Yeah, like Trudeau, like sock daddy Trudeau, his dad imposed martial law in Quebec because of the FLQ crisis. And they were like, had the army rounding up people in the fucking streets, and then they murdered this guy. So anyway.
But like also culturally, like you drive through Quebec, which I've done on tour, and you're like, oh yeah, Montreal is just another city. Like some of the signs are in French, but it's still like it feels like a city. Mm-hmm. It feels maybe a bit more European, but whatever. And then you like drive 45 minutes out and stop for gas. And it literally feels like you're in like the south of France.
It's
like
bizarre.
I feel like people are like stomping on grapes to make wine, like at the Chevron. it's like so French.
I was gonna say it's like the south of France, but more racist. But I think France is actually pretty racist, so it's a lot like France.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like I just remember trying to buy a coffee, and I don't speak French, and the guy would he refused to speak to me. Like I'm sure even when I go to France on vacation, people can get through the transaction of selling me a coffee, but in Quebec, he was like, "You're not going to speak French to me. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that's some Quebec ass shit. And so they had on Musique Plus a punk show, which like we didn't have. Like Mutt didn't have a punk show until like really late, and it was a George Stroumboulopoulos production, which was one of the sick things that he did when he was at that channel. But like, we had nothing, and they had like a dedicated like punk interview show, like live performances. It was all extremely rad.
I mean, I don't know. I also feel like Blink at this time was maybe big enough to be on the regular show.
Yeah, that's true.
This is also such a low quality video that I sent it to you. Maybe you can figure out who the host is. But let's hear Mark banter with her, and then her French for those of you who speak French. Maybe you'll get something out of this.
Sick. We're all gonna learn something.
All right. So I think we should leave your fans on a word of wisdom.
Right.
You said that the purpose of this album was to educate, and obviously it's called Enema of the State.
Educate and stimulate.
Educate and stimulate.
And masturbate!
Educate in which way? What do you want to teach your fans?
But that, it's okay to use your body as your own personal playground. And that's a good thing.
All right. Any political message between the lines we could read? Enema of the State?
The government? Yeah, okay, something.
That was so punk.
For sure.
That was incredibly punk. All right. Donc, yes?
Don't let the government do bad stuff.
That's quite deep, you're right. We will leave the fans on a word of wisdom. Donc, j'ai demandé à Blink, j'aurais dit, est-ce que vous voulez laisser vos fans sur des paroles très, très, très profondes, finalement? J'aurais dit, le but de votre album, apparemment, c'était d'éduquer. Il a dit oui, d'éduquer, de stimuler, et bien sûr, comme Tom a dit, do you want to say it?
Say what?
Masturbate.
Masturbate!
Yes.
Do you know what she said at the end?
No, I have no idea. I don't speak French.
After your big performance about that?
No, all I know is that we should say it plus. That's all. That's as far as I've got. Like, dude, what a perfect band. Like, what? Like, I love them. Like, I hear that and I just think like, what a stupid fucking time. What a stupid fucking band. Like, I can't wait to talk about them until I die.
Yeah, exactly. Which is going to be in approximately 3 years.
I mean, I hope I get it that far.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he said nothing political as a sort of a joke, but then I like that she sort of was like saucy enough to be like, "Wow, that's so punk."
Yeah, totally. I have no idea who that person is. Like the only Musique Plus person that I ever met, and he did host 123 Punk for a while, was this dude Reg, and he's like, I think he still hosts a lot of stuff on various like French TV stations. But like a short aside, which is we met when we used to go down and like cover the Warped Tour a lot, obviously, and so we would do these junkets where we'd like go down and spend like 2 or 3 days on the tour, first couple of dates, like get a bunch of interviews, write a lot of shit about it, and then like by the time the tour would come to Canada for Toronto, Montreal, they'd have all this advanced press, in Exclaim via Musique Plus. And so one day, we didn't have our own dedicated vehicle, so they basically like split up all of the journalists onto different buses. And so some people ended up on these like insane party buses, and myself, wife of the pod Ashley, and then these two guys from Musique Plus ended up on the Truth bus, which is the like youth anti-smoking initiative. So literally we were on a Warped Tour bus with fucking cops while other people were like getting alcohol poisoning driving between San Francisco and Los Angeles. And all of the French guys obviously smoked. And so like we're waiting to leave and they're all standing around smoking and like the kids on the bus are like, oh, where did like, so-and-so go? And we're like, he went out for air. And then he had to come back in and like pretend he hadn't been smoking, even though he was, 40 and all these kids were 20. But it was their bus, their rules.
The age differences between the fans and the rock stars in their vans on the Warped Tour is just. I mean, one day, the amount of stuff that's already come out about the Warped Tour is probably just scratching the surface of the kind of shit that's going to hopefully come out one day.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's I thought actually a pretty good Noisy interview. Like, it's tough for me because I've written very, very positively about Warped Tour and enjoyed like every experience I ever had there, and also it's one of those things where like I've been treated very well by people involved in it, and so like I feel really weird looking back on that, and I don't ever feel like I ignored, like it's not like I ever saw anything or whatever, but like I don't know, you feel like maybe there were questions you should have been asking or something. I was also like 20 and not a real fucking journalist, but like as it's sort of
knew you could have stopped it. You could have done all. You turned the other way. You closed your eyes, and
that's true. Yeah,
I know.
I'm
it's
complicit.
Weird, but I kind of think that the Warped Tour is like a formula for disaster, and it's maybe good that it's ending.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the right time for it to be over, and hopefully, if there are things to be said, they are said. I mean, again, I saw like a pretty sort of like borderline confrontational interview with Kevin in Vice, maybe like around when they announced that it was kind of shutting down, and that was sort of the first time I think I'd really thought as critically about it as I probably should have for a couple of years. So, that's it.
Well, if there's one thing you're learning, it's that being critical is good.
So back to what, when you started talking about the song, you sort of like intimated that it was like potentially like a bad play on words, like at the beginning of this episode. Is that true?
And
because that
also
bums me
along
out.
the lines of the Warped Tour thing. No, it's like not I don't think it's a mean thing necessarily, but along the lines of the Warped Tour thing and people using their infamy to get laid. Tom's roommate used to be a professional surfer named Benji Weatherly, and he wrote this about Benji because Benji was just always like, I don't know, he was just always sleeping potentially with groupies or just like fucking everyone around him. So mutt, I guess, is a term that I didn't know, but I guess mutt is what they would call like a promiscuous male.
Oh, okay. Like
maybe it's like
that slang never
maybe
made
it's
it
like
up here.
slut turned into with an M instead.
Right. Like when people would like, see, that's a bad one. It reminds me of like, the term, like I don't even feel comfortable saying it anymore, but like the term that would get thrown around the time of like pretty fly for a white guy, for like white people that were infatuated with African American culture. And like I used that word for fucking years until someone was like, you get that like all that is like you're substituting a letter and using like a vicious slur. And I was like, I honestly didn't. I just thought I was talking about like how like Mike dressed, because he's from Etobicoke and he only wears Wu-Tang t-shirts, and anyway.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't really actually think to even look into it too much, but I guess even when I look, okay, here we go. It's the 6th entry on Urban Dictionary. So there's a million other ones since then. And it really did not stick, but someone who sleeps with a lot of people, basically a whore.
Oh.
So
okay. Well,
I don't know.
Right on.
But so he wrote it about his roommate, Benji, what did I say his name? Benji Weatherly, who I did find on Facebook and DM about this, but he didn't write back. Fuck,
did you see, like, did he read the message? Or, like, do you think it went to, because you don't get those message request things, and I never look at those, and then I will, like, once a year, and they're, like, all, like, really wild suggestions for This Exists episodes.
Right. Or mine are always like from this article I wrote about how all Calgary rap is bad, like 7 years ago, and I'll still get like the occasional death threat about that or whatever. No, it's not even read. He didn't even read it. Fuck, Benji.
Maybe if you get the other famous Benji on the pod, or which
I only know Joel.
You
I
only know Joel
Madden.
Okay.
But when I say no, I mean mutual Twitter followers, and he put me on the Good Charlotte guest list once. But I feel like that's pretty intimate friendship.
I mean, like he put you on as a friend, not as press, right? You weren't reviewing the show.
Yeah, no, I didn't review the show. I was like, "Yo, can you put me on the guest list?" And he's like, "Sure, man." And I was like, can I come say hi to you guys? And then he never wrote back.
You're right. Okay, you pushed it too far.
But it was
I
a
get
great show. They're really good. Anyways, so here's what Tom said about his friend Benji. Mutt is a song I wrote about my friend Benji Weatherly, a professional surfer who has sex all the time. His name's Benji, but everyone nicknamed him Mutt, and it's just a song about a guy and a girl who like to have sex and who don't really care about much of anything else. I guess it doesn't really matter as long as they're having fun. It's not too deep. As long as it seems deep, that's all that matters.
Like Enema of the State, the government. There's this sort of facade of like intellectual depth.
I also think I never really liked these lyrics very much.
I don't think I thought about them. Like, as you were reading them out, I started thinking, okay, like through this like lens that we've been kind of discussing the song and sort of like American Pie and 90s teen sex comedy culture is like, is this like a weird one? But I don't think it's weird. I think it's just kind of nothing.
Well, yeah, he's not really. The thing is, he's actually not being judgmental, I don't think.
That's kind of my impression.
Of their promiscuity, right? It seems pretty sex positive. However, when I used to hear it all the time, I used to think that it was homophobic because of the thing about him riding his bike without a seat on it. Like I thought, because I remember like that was like homophobic jokes in junior high was like that you would like to do that.
Right.
You know, like just have that pole go up your butthole.
Right, because that's obviously what homosexuality is wanting to stick a metal pole
in the hole. Yeah, that's what they use, right?
Pole and hole. Yeah, I mean, I've never pursued any deeper understanding of the deviant homosexual
it was that,
lifestyle.
and then the comment about his pants being tight. I was like, oh, he's clearly being homophobic towards someone. But then when you read it more, you're like, no, he's not. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is this song? And then when he says, I think that along the lines of the commiserating thing and all the small things, when he says, often, they've typically, I feel like he's just using words that you would never use in a song in order to fit a rhyme scheme.
He is just like, he's shrinking the margins. He's making it like, 1.75 spaced. Like every trick to somehow get enough words for a full song.
Yeah.
It's kind of devoid of meaning. I've always, when I was younger, I remember it always struck me that it was like about like guys that I thought were like really corny dudes. Like this like he pauses shaving and tells himself he is the bomb. Like I interpreted it as sort of a criticism of the male character. But now I'm realizing it was sort of more of a like celebratory depiction of like his cool roommate, which like also tight. Like,
but maybe not. Maybe it is him sort of, but like just in a jovial way, being like, you're so confident and so skeezy because you're just like. Knowing that it's about a real person kind of makes it okay, I guess.
I feel the same way. Like, I can imagine having a friend like that. I mean, because the only way for me to have friends is to imagine it. And because I spend all my time talking to you, Josiah, and we don't even live in the same city.
That's why I've created a character named Bill.
Yeah, exactly. Just to flesh out my social world, which I appreciate. So, if you had a friend, you could make fun of your friends in this way. But I think at the time when I heard this, like, I probably would have hated a guy like that. Like this, like any male that was confident was like a threat to me, I guess. And so I, through that lens, interpreted it as a criticism of just this like kind of like shitty egotistical dude. Whereas like now I'm capable of recognizing that like you can also like people who are that way.
Right. Which is why I like you.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, also this opens up a world that we've never really discussed, which is Blink-182's connection to surfing, which I didn't really know about or realize. But in addition to being an American Pie soundtrack, well, first of all, it was also on the Jerry O'Connell or whatever movie Tomcats, which I've also never seen.
So you spent a lot of time in the Voyeur episode talking about how you love peeping into shower 90s comedies, and yet I don't think you've seen any of those movies. Like, I think you the posters or something.
I'm talking more about, well, that's definitely true, but I mean more like 80s and maybe early 90s ones. But this is like,
the demo
we're
tapes.
Getting into like 2000s.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Before they were popular.
Yeah, I'm only into their early stuff.
I get it.
When it comes to perverted teen movies, I'm only into their early stuff.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so it was also in Tomcats and it was in American Pie. But then the other thing that it was in was this surf movie called The Show, that was directed by this guy Taylor Steele. And I guess this guy Taylor Steele, looking at his wiki, he was like he's not dead. I don't know why I'm talking about him in the past tense, but in the 90s he was like the hip surf video guy. Like he released like VHS things that not only were like huge for the surf scene, but also like he basically helped launch Blink-182's popularity. Like Tom DeLonge says on the Wikipedia, Taylor was putting our band along with the biggest surfers in the world, and back then action sports wasn't really called action sports, but that lifestyle was very connected to punk rock music. So we had our first really big chance to win over any kinds of fans within surfing and skateboarding. So this was like actually surfing was very influential to Blink-182.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe a function. I guess like this is obvious, but of geography, right? So like I expressly associate skateboarding and punk. Like surfing seems like a thing for like jocks from another planet, you know?
Right, and I think that too. No disrespect to all of our Australian listeners who I deeply assume are jocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's true. And but it's, I guess, I mean, also realistically at this time, pop punk was for jocks, and it was like frat music, right? So I guess
yes.
American Pie is also a frat situation. So really, it's these subcultures converging and like appealing to a specific kind of masculine person that I assume that, well, I know for a fact that going to local punk shows at the time, it was really not cool to be a fan of Blink-182 because we were all into like more edgy alternative things that were not so jockey.
Yeah, totally. The surfing thing's so trippy, man. Because, yeah, I think about, like, skate videos were how you would find out about bands. Like, I'm sure you had that experience, right? Like, I never watched a surf video in my fucking life.
No, me neither. But, like, you've probably heard of Blink-182 going on the Good Times tour, and we're going to have to talk about their cover of the Good Times theme song. But the reason they did that was to promote one of Taylor Steele's films, which was called Good Times. It was a surf video called Good Times. That's why they did it.
Taylor Steele does sound like a porno name, right? Like every time you say it, we're like, Taylor Steele's films. Like,
yeah, it's true. But the bottom line is, so I just wanted to show you the rest of the soundtrack for this the show Surf movie, because it's another. Like last week we mentioned God Money, which has this amazing soundtrack, and then you look at the show, and it's like Rancid, Descendants, Pennywise, Good Riddance, Lagwagon, AFI, NoFX, 98 Mute, Strung Out, All, No Fun at All.
No Fun at all. I've not thought about No Fun at All in a long fucking time.
Yeah. And DHC and UL are on here as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fucking Down by Law. This soundtrack rules.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? So, I mean, I guess if you had seen this surf video, you would have been like, damn, this music whips ass.
And the version that's on the soundtrack is the Trombino version. It's the good version.
Yeah, so I guess they just, like, they demoed this, and then they must have had, like, a dealer for soundtracks or something.
Wow, dealer. We should add this to the list of movies that we got to watch when we start doing Twitch streams in the new year.
Yeah, well, I do have to mention one really quick thing because friend of the pod, Mark Teo, just messaged me because he was just listening to last week's episode, and he told me he has seen God Money.
Oh, what was his review?
And he said, I can't remember what he said of the quality of the movie, but the interesting thing about it is that the movie stars the singer of the legendary straight edge band Strife.
Oh, shit. All right.
And an interesting aside about that is some really good friends of mine from Vancouver, including Ryan, who I've mentioned before, who runs Mint Records now. They had this band called Beelines who were like fucking sick, and they were on Deranged Records for a long time. But their guitarist, Scotty, he grew up in LA, and he was like the original guitarist of Strife when he was like 14 years old. And then he like broke edge and moved up the West Coast. So it's like, I don't know. I love these weird tidbits.
Maybe we can include him as a guest on the God Money stream.
I'd love to. So we're talking about sports. I wrote this down because I feel like you would care about this.
Thanks, man.
I don't know. Have you? I feel because we've talked about pop punk and baseball a lot. I'm just gonna send you this because I don't know how to. I don't want to say this guy's name wrong and seem dumb. But Chicago Cubs Brian Dwensing.
Dwensing, yeah.
Do you know? Is he good? Is he
I
a
don't,
guy?
I don't really know anything about him, to be honest. Like, I don't. The Cubs are like, in another universe. To like, they play in technically like a different league, right? So I just don't think about them that much.
They play in a different league, really?
Well,
What
it's
does
like
that
there's
mean?
2 leagues in baseball. There's like the American League and the National League, and they sometimes.
I thought it was just MLB.
No, see, MLB is a land divided, and so the Cubs rarely play
damn.
the Jays. They have interleague play now. Why are we? This is awful. Anyway,
Well, anyways, this guy's walkout song, this Brian Dwensing fella, he walks out to Mutt. I don't know.
What?
I'm just trying to appeal to you here.
that is appealing to me.
There you go.
What the fuck?
I learned this on the Blink-182 Reddit, but yeah, he walks out because someone was like, "Oh my God, they're playing Mutt at is it Wrigley? Is that where Chicago Cubs play?" Yeah, so they're playing Mutt, and then there was an interview with this guy where he was talking about how he loves like '90s music, and he said he likes Green Day and Blink-182 and Goo Goo Dolls, and I was like so on board with all those, and then he said Matchbox 20, and I was like, "Fuck this guy."
We should have got him on the pod, though, dude.
The Chicago Cubs, yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? Oh, my God. Oh, fuck. There's a dude who used to work for Fat Records, and he lives in Chicago. His name is Toby, and he runs a record label, Red Scare, like with Brendan from the Lawrence Arms.
Okay.
And he, like, works for the Cubs. Like, he works at Wrigley. So when bands come through Chicago, he'll, like, get their names up on... I mean, Wrigley is, like, the, oldest... field in baseball.
Gum. It's a gum, right?
It's a gum,
Wrigley.
yes. And so they don't have like the sort of traditional like big board, lots of shit. It's like a real old timey stadium, but they do have like a small kind of LED board where they use for like messaging and stuff. And so he'll get them to put up like at Cubs games, like the Chicago Cubs welcome a Wilhelm scream. It's kind of sick.
So maybe the Cubs are the epicenter of the pop punk baseball crossover.
It's an interesting theory. Again, like I think we talked about this last week. Like Cleveland had a pitching coach who was actually in 10 for Pole and Scared Straight. So like I would say those bands have the most like true juice. But it's hard to say
True Jews.
True juice. Juice.
But like, do they not preview the lyrics of these walkout songs?
I mean, most of them are walking out to, rap music and contemporary R&B, which of course, like, the lyrics to those songs, hateful music, Josiah.
You're gonna drop a slur again?
I'm ready,
on me,
yeah.
or what?
I'm getting up to it. We're getting later in the podcast, so fewer and fewer people are listening, meaning
They're dropping like flies.
I can experiment with more dangerous rhetoric.
Well, Sam, that's all the shit I wrote down.
Well, I'm sure you wrote down some fucking covers, right?
No, there's
Oh,
none.
wow, that's it. No one's ever covered Mutt.
Yeah, it's not a very popular. No one's seen American Pie, so that's the problem.
All of our listeners are just like you. They've never seen any popular movies. They stopped liking all bands before they played too big of a venue, and jocks started liking it, like me.
Well, that is actually interesting because how did Blink-182 survive my strict... I guess I'm not as anti-jock as I used to be, but I was very anti-jock the whole time, but I was still secretly listening to Blink in my room.
I mean, I just think as you get old, all of your like morals, decay, and that can be like meaningful stuff. Like, you stop caring about those that are less fortunate than you, and you start voting for more conservative, social and fiscal policies. But it also can just mean that your old hatred sort of just like falls off you gently, and maybe you just don't care as much about anything, Josiah.
What?
All right, let's get into covers, eh?
Yeah. There's actually...
Were you unprepared for this?
Yeah, where am I? I'm just trying to think of in terms of my chef skills.
Well, like how many covers do we have? Because, we started, our conversation before we were recording with you asking me if I had a quote unquote time crunch, which is your way of asking if I only have 90 minutes to talk or something.
Yeah, it's so selfish when you do that.
I know. Isn't it horrible? So we may...
My wife is just like sitting in the other room with her knees crossed and her hands in a perfect little like crossed fingers
Right.
formation on her knee, just sitting there in silence, patiently waiting as long as it takes because she supports me.
And you don't get the same level of support from me, is what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and I'm just saying you're always running away, but my whole world stops because we can spend as long as we want.
So we may break off some of these covers and do a exclusive of Mutt covers, before we agree that that's a thing that's going to happen. Like, do you feel like you have enough worthwhile covers, or are there going to be just 10 in a row that are like fucking trash?
I mean, I don't know how to answer that question or any questions about taste or aesthetics anymore.
Right. Okay. So let's just get into this.
No,
and let's
I
see.
actually think if we go quick enough, we might not need to break them off.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Let's just give me the good ones. Like, unless you feel really confident about it, I just want the hits right now.
Well, that's definitely not ever going to happen. So
okay. Sorry. Yes.
This one I wrote down. I'm just going to do them in order of what I have. This
Okay.
one I wrote down because I've really started getting. So usually when I look at covers, I click around into like I sort of open it and click to the middle of the song, just to get the juice of it and decide. I'm only listening to these for about 2 seconds
So did you say to
before
get
I
the
put them on the
Jews,
list.
Josiah? Call back humor.
But lately, I've been getting really into the intros and outros of the video, what people say before they start, of these such things. So this one I was really drawn to because Blake Harrison, who published this on September 16th, 2014.
So close to September 11th. So close.
Exactly. And has since amassed 25 views in that time. Oh, wow. I was just really impressed with because I thought he was joking at first with what he said, but I don't actually think he is. But hear what he says at the start of his video.
Okay.
This is take 46. That's not a joke. The song is called Mutt by Blink-182. He pauses shaving and he tells himself that he is the bomb. She has her curler set, her credit cards are paying the fun. He's not that out, I've been told. Showing sexual gold.
Well, first of all, he sounds like Aaron Paul. Like, doesn't he sound like Mr. White?
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, he is in like a... I didn't send you what it looks like. It's also like a very, very creepy looking video. Like he sort of has this light behind him so that he looks like a silhouette, and I see a cowboy hat in the background, but otherwise I see no other details other than wood paneling.
Wow, that is an unsettling ass video.
But I guess I just need to take him at his word that he's not joking when he says that it's take. What did he say? 46?
46. Yeah, originally it sounded like, and then this is not a joke. I was like, okay, bro.
And then you hear the music and you're like, yeah, this guy definitely has no sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. It felt very real to me.
So poor Blake, all this time, I mean, I will say I don't think he fucks up. At least in the start, he didn't fuck anything up. So he did finally get it.
Oh, no. What happened? Was it your cat? I can't.
I always get really fidgety around this time.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna... Mike falls. We're into fidget hours. Okay, so wait. What were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say, so it's take 46, but I don't really feel like he fucked anything up at least. So he did finally get it. So it's like a success on that level.
Yeah, I mean, kudos. I think it's not a success, and we've played a lot of acoustic covers and talked a lot about that world, and this, more than anything, like the way he's arranged it, is a reminder that like Dashboard Confessional ruined a generation, and I include myself in this. Like I had an acoustic band. I mean, I love Dashboard. I met Chris Carrabba once, like years after The Infatuated had subsided, and it was like meeting God. I mean, it was truly a special moment in my life. And I just hear this and I think, yeah, like we all listen to those records too fucking much, man. And like, this is not It's not worth it.
But I'm curious if maybe I'm just getting thrown by the cowboy hat, but I'm curious if he was a Chris Krabba fan or if he was like,
I don't know, the big open way that he's played. Like, I mean, the tuning sounds like that's some Caraba sounds. And again, Dashboard was normie shit. So like,
while you were just talking about that, I was trying to do the math to figure out how long it would take to do a 2-minute 45-second song 46 times, and I can't really figure it out, but it's a lot.
It's hard to multiply time because of the seconds thing and the minutes, I guess.
Yeah, it's so confusing.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Would it be 112 minutes? 0.7?
Yep, I think that's officially it. I think
that was it.
It's 155 minutes.
So, let's see.
Next.
What do we got here? Do I want to... yeah, you know what? We'll be fine. I'm going to skip a couple of these.
Okay.
Some of them I just wrote down thinking of torturing you, but there's enough... The ones that are worth playing are still bad enough that it's I'll be satisfied.
Okay, good. Yeah, as long as you get what you need out of this. Also, my Thai food is arriving in 8 minutes, and look, I'm not going to cut us off in 8 minutes, but I would like to eat it sort of like sooner rather than later.
All right, I'm going to add a few more in, and then...
I mean, you're also, you're punishing not just me, but wife of the pod, Ashley, and she's done nothing to you.
Well,
Ashley just yelled, "I'm happy to eat alone," which is the second time I've heard from her since we started recording. Earlier, what feels like a conversation that happened weeks ago, she messaged me from the other side of the house saying, "I can't believe you don't know what an N-dash is." So...
there we go.
Yeah, so
Hell yeah.
I'm getting shamed from all sides here, and I feel attacked, and I don't like it. And also, Ashley's really ruining my out here. Where I was like, "Look, the food's getting here. I need to go to be a good husband," and she's like, "It's fine. Like, let Josiah keep torturing me for the rest of my life."
Actually, for real, we've joked about it, but I think maybe the Build This Pool one or something. Let's do one that's like 8 hours long. Like, let's do like a telethon.
I'm into it. I mean, like, I've done a couple of like really long, like marathon This Exists sort of events because I love that shit. We did like a Friday the 13th marathon, like every single movie, and we live streamed it, like, which you are very excited about, and raised money to send kids to camp. It was super fun. So I think something like that, like, I am so down with like a massive Built This Pool telethon where maybe we raise money to like build a pool
for ourselves.
For ourselves, yeah. I was thinking like kids in need of pools, The
reason did I send you this link? Yes. The reason I chose this one is because it's sort of the best of both worlds because it's a cover, but it opens with like a homemade music video kind of.
Wow. Okay, and it's a great name.
I don't know. You can start. Let's talk about it a bit before I play the music, but. There's like a zany pop punk boy who I think clearly filmed it in his sister's room. The users are -3, so it's like the number 3 and then spelled out.
Okay.
And the caption is, "We've done better," which I'm already on board. But then he like gets up in his sister's room and he's like making out with One Direction posters. He's falling around everywhere. He's just being a real zany goofball.
Well, he literally wakes up with like a baseball glove on. So this is also an extreme baseball pop punk connect moment.
Right. And then, yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch enough of it to really understand the plot. I think when people do these sketches, they're mostly doing like trying to get to band practice sketch.
Right. The classic sketch we all know and love.
Yeah. It's like, it's up there with Who's on First.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I will say, so that already like, I'm annoyed by how long it's taking when I watch this, but I'm also kind of charmed because these kids seem like total nerds, but like in a cute way. And then here's what their band sounds like.
Shaking and tells me something.
Like,
I
you're
love
like,
these kids.
well, just you're like, look, you're never gonna guess what their band sounds like, and the answer is Blink-182.
No, they're totally like they're just like sloppy and cute.
It sounds like the Trombino
like-
version. I loved it.
Yeah, they're just like, I was expecting it to be like either very inept or too
okay,
good
yeah.
or like I was just expecting something to laugh at, and instead I was like, I love these kids. I would hang out with these kids, or like I'd love to hear their demo tape or whatever. Like, I don't know. They're cute.
It sounds exactly, or it doesn't sound exactly like, but I love it the way I love the Blink on that Australian show. Like it's perfect. I absolutely agree, and also I want to hang out with them like you because this video is shot in the exact same basement that like I jammed in my entire life. I mean, this like unfinished like furnace room that I suppose.
Oh, it's such a jamming basement for sure.
Yeah, like this was like my parents' basement. Like this is where like all of my bands played. Like this was all my friends' houses when we would go over. Like this room, you got the beer fridge in the back with all the beer that you don't drink because you're still straight edge. But like, fuck man.
Right. And then at the very end of the video, I did just notice it says, "Come to our goddamn show on the 7th of December at the Space in Hamden." They're so cute. I love these kids.
In Hamden, is that like are they English?
I don't know. I can't tell. So
that sounds like the name of a city in Britain, right? Hamden.
We've done this before. Let's hear a little bit of their actual music. So I've never done this. I never heard this earlier. But here's -3, the song "Destitute."
Okay. I can't believe we missed that show. I can't believe it.
I know. Yeah, it kind of seems like maybe, probably the ergs maybe, or like
yeah, totally.
Like kids who are like don't realize that they sound like Ween, maybe like just like kind of like
accidental
goofy.
Ween. Yeah,
which I like because I don't like Ween, but I like goofy things. Well, so I don't know.
Ween on purpose is not nearly as good. By the way, Hamden is in fact in Connecticut and was named by CNN Money as the 53rd best small city in America. And
probably thanks to the influence of -3.
I think that's it. People were like, CNN Money and Fortune ranked it as 33rd on their best place to live and launch list. So I assume they, of course, mean launching a band like -33, which now has at least sort of ascended to a level of success where people talk about them in hour 5 of their Blink-182 podcast.
Right, exactly. Let's see. It looks like they played a show in 2014, but on their, maybe you'll have to bookmark this because on their Facebook they have a cover of Blink-182 covering Screeching Weasel or something the same basement.
Okay,
so
cool.
I don't know. Yeah, that's so nice to discover some teen sloppy punk bands. I love it.
Yeah, that was great.
It warms my heart.
So now, like, this is like a real, like, you're putting together some sort of shit sandwich for me at this point, though, right? Like,
I mean, there's some shit coming,
okay.
But first of all, so. I said I skip ahead to get the juice. Well, sometimes it's really shocking what I discover. So this cover, you'll be like, at first you'll be like, oh yeah, this is a normal cover of the song, and then it really takes an interesting turn. So I'm just going to start it sort of at the normal part, and then you can hear it. So this is the SoundCloud user RELL or RELEE. So Relee. Oops. Fuck, I just ruined the surprise.
I mean,
it's really hard to skip ahead on SoundCloud. Okay.
The surprise has not been ruined because I'm still surprised.
Okay. Here we go.
Hell yeah! And they don't even care at all. Smokes a dozen and he doesn't seem to notice the smell. He took the seat off his own bike because the way that it felt. He wants to bone this, I know. She's ready to blow.
What?
Dumb. They've like put this like weird like Oregon Trail computer music in the middle of a regular pop punk cover.
In my mind, like that's what MC Chris sounds like or whatever. You know, like any of those like nerdcore rappers, like who are all like total pop punk kids. Like that is their vibe, like 100%.
I feel like you're giving this person not enough credit because the actual cover is like a straight up pop punk cover, but then they're just like, let's do a very stupid detour in the verses, and I really respect it. I think it's in the spirit of the song.
I think I'm giving it the credit it deserves.
I've never heard MC Chris because
neither have I. I'm guessing
MC Chris is someone that people use sort of as a curse word. Like they mention MC Chris like as if it's like this, as if it's that slur you were referencing earlier without saying.
No, I've never listened to MC Chris either. I'm like totally guessing. Okay, I gotta run and just grab my food. I'll be
okay.
I'll be back in a moment. Hold on, I'm just gonna time code this.
Because I'm a chef, I know you're having a hard time. I'm going to give you something that I know you're going to like.
Something nice and meaty for me to dig into because I'm hungry and I haven't had dinner.
So I'm sending you this not so that you can see what it is. I didn't want to ruin the surprise, but I want you to look at the picture here of what this picture is, and I'll play you the music while you look at the picture. So here we go.
Okay.
She has her credit said her credit cards are paying a fund. She's not that old, I've been told. A strong sexual goal. They go out every day. She goes every way, oh yeah. They don't even care at all. She's up and waiting for more.
Yes! You know, like, I respect the sort of, like, tricks that you use in order to, like, keep me from, like, never wanting to do this podcast again, which is, like, we'll do an episode like Voyeur where you'll just, like, punish me with outsider art covers of the song. And then you bring me something so simple and so beautiful that somehow only has 150 views on it. And
well, it's really like the mentality of like the evil man from the movie Room, or like someone who's kidnapped someone. Like you have to occasionally give them a dish of water or something to keep them. You know, I don't want you to die on me.
So good, but extra confusing, and I can see why you sent it to me because the sort of image that goes along with this just like jaunty and delightful a cappella cover is it's like a real classic like kind of family like photo. So
yeah, it's like totally like the family rec room.
Yeah, there's like a young man playing like a flying V with yellow highlights wearing like.
But it's like definitely like an off-brand flying. Like it's like a truly ridiculous heavy metal guitar. Like it's the kind of guitar that would only ever be used as a prop, I feel
like no actual band would ever play this guitar, but it looks sweet. And he's got like basketball shorts on and an American Eagle sweater and like clearly a heavily patterned guitar strap. So the whole thing is like aesthetically sick. And he's doing like metal face, but he's like right beside the family couch or whatever, where like someone else. I've in my mind I've invented that this person is his sister because it's a person with long hair.
Me too. And but also because they're so indifferent and probably just like, fuck, go away.
Exactly.
I'm trying to play this video game.
It's the indifference that like only a family member can show to you when you're being this hammy. And so this person is just staring right ahead and playing StarCraft 2 on a television.
But there is, I feel like they used this photo because there's a Blink-182 sticker on something.
Oh, there is. Yeah, that's
I don't know,
obscure.
But I love it. Also, this photo was taken with like a digital camera with flash because it has the time stamp on it.
Yeah.
What an interesting era for photography where people thought that we would all want like horrible timestamps on our photos.
Oh yeah, I had not just a timestamp, but my first like camera as a kid. Like I got a film camera as a gift, and it was like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles camera, and so it was like green and probably like I don't know texturally was turtle-ish, but most importantly, inside of the camera was like where like some cameras like would stamp you know. The time and the date or whatever. Like I don't know what it would have been, but clearly some piece that sort of as the light was let in and the photo was taken, it would imprint like in the corner, like basically a Ninja Turtle watermark. So all of my photos, and I still have like a photo book from that era, and it's great. It's like photos of my family and photos of my grandma, and like my friends' birthday parties at that time, and so they're like kind of amazing and delightful photos, and they all have this like pretty substantial black watermark of like Michelangelo, like. Woo! And it's actually
so
amazing.
Cool.
It's like it just cements it so squarely in the air. But it's such a strange thing to have offered to people.
But like places like mall hip places like Urban Outfitters or whatever, they sell like disposable cameras that have watermarks on them like that. Let's say
really?
Like OMG or something. And it makes me wonder, why hasn't a band done that as a merch item yet? Like you go to a show, buy a disposable camera with the band's logo watermarked on it, and then take disposable photos throughout the whole show.
Yeah, that's a sick idea, and brings us right back to begging people to buy our shirts, because if we do okay on this merch run, Josiah, again, is free to invest our Patreon dollars in more experimental merch items, such as disposable cameras with...
We truly have like an
watermarks.
endless well of idiotic ideas.
We are endlessly idiotic.
So, okay, I'm going to play you one before you get mad at me for what I'm showing you. So, but this is sort of book it. So we're going to do, this is a chiptune cover.
Okay.
And then we're going to do a section where you get mad at me, and then we're going to do something that sort of brings it all home.
Okay.
So, this is Digitalit on SoundCloud.
Okay.
Doing a chiptune cover of Mutt. Here we go.
Yeah,
really good.
So good. And especially like not just like chiptuney, but from a sound perspective, like a lot of those just like the sort of percussive noises really sound like video game jumps, as opposed to just trying to make everything sound like a clap. I loved it.
Yeah, totally. That's true. I think chiptune is one of those genres that maybe I just don't know enough about it, but it's pretty much like always going to be enjoyable. I think.
Yeah, I think that's
it's
totally
kind of hard
reasonable.
to fuck it up. It's like a sonic palette that like always sounds nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep, totally agree.
So I'd like to introduce you to one of my new favorite YouTube users here. His name is, and I'd like to think this is the year he was born. His name on YouTube is Swagging Since 03.
Okay.
And he is truly a little boy. Like, this is a little boy.
I don't know. Dude, if this guy had been swagging since 03, like, I don't think he'd be this small.
Well, this was uploaded in 2013, so yeah.
You think this is a 10-year-old boy even?
It's hard to know. Like, it's hard to guess ages. Yeah, maybe not.
Is he wearing a Hervana shirt?
Well, listen, there's a lot to get into. I'm going to play you two videos from Swagging Since 03.
Okay. How swaggy are they?
This is his first Mutt cover. So in these last 5 years, almost, I guess, we just missed the anniversary for this video, but in these last 5 years, this has gotten 8 views. And I really love this kid. So here we go. Swagging 03 with his cover of Mutt.
Go ahead, Josiah. Go ahead.
I'm tempted to play all 3 minutes of it. I don't know if you can hear through my earbud, which is our advanced audio setup where I play you the audio clips through Skype, but he did have Mutt on in the background.
Yeah, you can hear
quietly.
it very, very softly. I mean, I remember. I mean, first of all, like that's exactly how good of a guitar player I am. So like, no shame on this kid's chops.
And you've been swagging way longer since 03.
Yeah,
so.
I've been swagging for way longer. I play in a band where I attempt to sort of swag with a guitar, and so like no disrespect. It reminds me of really learning to play guitar and like finding tabs for songs that you liked and playing along with them and feeling like, you know, this doesn't quite sound right, but not being able to know why. And that's because you didn't own a tuner yet. And so you basically had the guitar, and sometimes you would tune the guitar to itself. Like you'd maybe figured out how to do that much, but like you didn't know how to tune it to like a keyboard or like a tone that you could maybe find on your phone or on the internet. And so everything you do kind of sounds like that. And so it actually makes me very nostalgic for an era.
But this is, I know exactly what you're talking about. This is even a step further where like the day that you decide to learn how to play guitar, you pick up the guitar and try to just like sort of this like free association play along with the song. Like you didn't see the video, but he's literally just like strumming all the strings open and like posing for his webcam. Like he's literally just like, he does not know he has no idea what he's doing. but he feels like the coolest guy in the world, and it's true because he's swagging.
That's sick. Yeah, no, that's it. He's delivering with swag. It is like one of those things where you've seen people play guitar and you're like, okay, so I kind of hold it, and I like, to be honest, he has more confidence in his posture than I do when I play guitar. So like,
and even also because that like lead riff at the start, you can kind of tell that he's like trying to interpret it by playing the high up strings. Just like in his mind, he's like, oh, you just like don't play all the strings, you just play a couple.
Yeah, all the small strings.
Exactly. So that was the intro. Here's a 10-minute video with Swagging 03.
Yeah, because something that really concerned me in your introduction to that is that you called it his first Mutt cover.
And actually, I don't know about the order. That was actually his second.
Oh, so this is the first one. This is a year earlier, this cover.
Well, actually a month only, because the other one was in January. Okay. But I can understand. You'll understand why he felt the need to upload it again, because this 10-minute video, so it's called Mutt Degenerate Mutt Blink-182 cover. So I think the first half of these 10 minutes is a Degenerate cover. But there's all kinds of problems here. I'm going to play you some of the talking as well, because there's just a lot of problems in this video.
Wow, so imagine saying you're going to do something about like a song and then just diverging wildly and rambling about nothing. And yeah, that sounds like it would be a problem for sure. Go ahead, no. Let's do this.
It's not you're assuming things about what here. There's more to it. There's another character, okay?
Okay. Sorry about my sister. She was really annoying, and she has her own videos, so just go ahead and watch her videos too. But I'm gonna go shut my door. Let me shut my door. I didn't say that.
So basically, he's in a fight with his sister, and he has to close the door, and then he like piles a bunch of shit in front of the door.
Really?
Yeah, like he piles up a whole bunch of shit, and then of course the song comes. I'll play you a little bit of the song here, of course.
Okay. Yeah, please.
That's his sister knocking on the door the whole time, trying to get in and yelling through the door.
But he's piled too much stuff.
Sang.
Yeah.
He piled a bunch of shit, but he at least sang. Also, I feel like he's too young to be singing this song again. But and then of course, so that's his cover. But I mean, you know, we should at least give him the benefit of the doubt and hear the end of his video. So here's what he says at the end.
Okay.
Sorry about all those interruptions, those bangies on the door. That's just my sister. Always watch my stuff. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe. Watch my sister's stuff too. I don't know what her name is though. Watch her stuff and watch my stuff. Watch the Kid Project, watch Blink stuff, and make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, guys. Thanks. No hate comments.
Oh, I mean, I like that he's, trying.
Despite his sister ruining his otherwise perfect cover.
It's so fucked up how every kid has a YouTube channel, though, right? Like, he's clearly shouting out his friends and his sister, whose name he doesn't know. I mean, probably the name of the channel. Maybe he doesn't know her actual name.
The thing is, like, it's really easy sometimes, and I'm just, like, being transparent. I know that it's wrong, but it's very easy sometimes when you're, like, someone who doesn't have kids to just sort of, like, judge people subconsciously. When you're out, you're like, oh, that person needs to get their kid under control, or, like, oh, this family seems very chaotic. And when I watch this video, like, the room is a complete disaster. There's people screaming throughout the house. He's piled shit up, and he's in his room singing this song about, like, explicit, promiscuous sex. And his voice has not yet changed. And I just think, is this kid okay?
Yeah, because, like, you know, Lord knows you could grow up to spend, like, most of your free time hosting a Blink-182 podcast. So, like, you really should be judging how other people are spending their time, Josiah.
I just feel like at least I'm theoretically old enough to make that decision for myself. But this boy seems like he might be trapped.
Right. So you're saying you wouldn't let your kid, like, do this podcast or cover Mutt while their sister hammers on the door?
I don't know. The video. All I'm saying is the video is so chaotic that it just stresses me out. It's just like, I don't know.
As a potential future parent.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily, but regardless, just in general, like I feel like grape juice stains forming on my mouth. Like I feel like all those kind of kids always are just covered in grape juice stains.
It's the grape juice industry is 100% supported by families of children like that, because have you ever bought grape juice as an adult with no kids? Like, ever?
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I buy all kinds of juices, but I never buy grape juice. And the other thing that I associate with children alone is dry Cheerios. Like Honey Nut Cheerios in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah. I have a very distinct memory of going to see, like, I wish I knew. So it's clearly not that distinct a memory, but going to see some show at the Warehouse in Toronto, which was like the sort of medium-sized venue where, like, I think, like, you know, Blink's played there. We've talked about that, like, sort of back in the day. I feel like the last show I saw there was No Effects in Dillinger 4. But I remember in grade, like, 8 going to see something there, grade 8 or grade 9. And, you know, I'm a hungry boy. Like, that has not changed in my life. And so the idea of sort of being out for that length of time with no access to snacks was very stressful to me, and still is. And so I had a Ziploc bag full of Cheerios.
While your dinner gets cold.
Yeah, like, I'm fucking dying. But I'm doing this to myself now. Like, I'm telling the story. The point is, I had a Ziploc baggie of dry Cheerios in my, like, cargo shorts. And I went through security at this show. I feel like, I want to say it was like Incubus and Head PE was the show. And the security guys were like, you got to throw this out. And I was like, fuck my Cheerios.
That's amazing. I've only associated that snack with toddlers.
No, and
like when I was still drinking last year, I went to, there's all these new, like, fucking Mark Duplass ass craft breweries in Calgary, and I went to some of them, and they were like, you'd go during the day and it would just be all these, like, yuppie moms with $3,000 strollers, and they would just have kids, like, eating Cheerios, but they pretty much just lick them and then stick them to the tables, and then everywhere you go there's just, like, wet saliva Cheerios everywhere.
You're right, that does sound awful.
So that was you, basically, at the Head PE show.
Yeah, just like I was in a stroller. I was licking Cheerios, just getting down to some, you know, like, real progressive nu metal vibes.
Well, that's amazing. And now I'm going to play you something that I actually truly love that I found. I'm so happy I found it. Somebody named Tim Thornton from the bands Tiger Village and CDX. I think this is sort of like the poppier side of the noise scene from late 2000s, early 2010s, like sort of Dan Deacon, Lightning Bolt kind of vibes. But this guy who was in all these other noise bands, he released an entire cover of Enema of the State from start to finish that I've never found until today. So the artist name is, well, you need to read this because it's in French. I don't know how to say it.
Well, as the most cultured... Les Cousins Dangereux.
There we go. So, yeah, he's done, like, a full-on cover of this, and it's not quite chiptune. It's not... I don't know. It's... here we go.
That's like a... What is that a joke from, though? La Cousin's Dangerous.
Is that
yeah, it's a joke because it's like like
Oh, is
Dangerous
that from
Liaisons.
Arrested
It's
Development?
Arrested Development, yeah, because it's the Dangerous Cousins. It's the Dangerous Liaisons
right.
joke. Oh my god. Okay, so already like I am 100% on side with like everything.
Yeah,
everything
and it's so
about
we'll have to mark this down and revisit it because so this was recorded in 1 week, summer 2009. Here we go with the Mutt cover. Oh, that is like. Go ahead. Maybe you don't like it.
I'm literally buying it right now on Bandcamp. I $5. Does that seem good? $5
Yeah.
US? Like I love that so much.
This is exactly the kind of music that I was obsessed with around this time, and I wish I had found this. This is so. I've talked about Paper Rat and Extreme Animals before. It's like along those vibes too. Like when I feel like the problem with a lot of noisy sort of outsider art people was always that they take themselves so seriously that they just can't let loose, but they have all the tools aesthetically to make something that sounds nice. But then when they finally just like have fun and make pop music, it sounds perfect.
Yeah.
But instead they often just make these like obtuse, challenging projects with like a long thesis statement that's so difficult. But when they just like to cover Enema of the State in this style, I can't wait to listen to the whole thing because I love it.
Yeah, well, I bought it and I just downloaded it, so I'm good. This is how I'm going to spend my night. I love that. You know, it's funny. It's like I wasn't into a lot of those things kind of as they were happening, and it's like I don't really know why. I think I was like into like less challenging shit, maybe, or like I just only wanted to listen to like pop punk. And now as I like go back and appreciate more of like, yeah, we've talked about Paper Rat a lot, but like that era, that aesthetic, both like sonically and like visual aesthetics of it, like I fucking love this. This was available as a CDR in a digipack case.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing though, right? Like a lot of those things, I personally, maybe someone will get offended by this, but I think that it's pretty pretentious to just make very intentionally challenging things and then try to sell it as like, unless it's like supposed to be antagonizing, I guess. But I feel like it's pretentious to make music that's like that difficult with no entry point for anyone. But I love when they embrace fun, then it's just like, it's so perfect.
Well, yeah, like I've become obsessed with this Dan Deacon song in the last like month, and I never got Dan Deacon, and I sort of went back and listened to the record that the song was from, and I was like, I still don't really like this. But the thing is, when you do pop stuff, so it's that song "When I Was Done Dying," or I think that's the name of the song.
Which record is it?
I don't know. Like literally, this song was in that show Dark, the like German Netflix show. That's What If Stranger Things, but serious. And
I noticed that. I heard Dan Deacon when Sarah was watching that actually.
Yeah, and I was like, "What is this fucking amazing song?" And then I was like, "Oh, do I like Dan Deacon?" And then I don't. But that's like a pop song. Like so, the idea of like taking all of these transgressive sonic ideas and sort of like fringe aesthetics and molding them to like just a kind of pristine like pop sense of songwriting, whether that's like your originals in the case of like that very good Dan Deacon song or executing like a complete Enema of the State cover album. Like it's fucking great. Like this is what I wish all music sounded like, because I like the way this sounds, but I love hooks and harms.
Whenever you say the word harms, I want to reverse everything I've just said, but otherwise I agree.
Remember earlier when you loved the harms in the Trombino version?
Oh, I know.
You did.
But yeah, so that's the covers. I ended it on a positive note after we watched that little boy fight with his sister.
Positively manageable. So, Josiah, what are your final thoughts on Mutt?
I still think it's not my favorite, but I appreciate it more and more the more we talk about it, I guess. Maybe if we had a couple more hours with it, I would learn to love it.
Sorry. It felt like that was kind of like seemed like a dig. Would you like to know my final thoughts as well?
Yeah, I guess
okay. So, song rips, but hearing that Trombino version, like I now, I never really sort of conjured the idea of this sort of like alternate 1985 where Damn It isn't a hit and there's a record that sounds like that. And I want that to exist, but I'm glad that this one sliver, this one sort of taste of a different universe, dark on Netflix style exists. I'm glad I got that.
So you're saying you wish that existed, but you're glad that this exists.
Yes. Yes. And also, I'm incredibly grateful for the fact that I now have this record to listen to all night and drive wife of the pod, Ashley, totally insane, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, great. On that note, we have a guest.
Hell yeah.
Sunny Side Up. Yeah. Sunny 5 IDE Up. So all of his socials are actually the same name across them all.
So he's better at digital marketing than I am, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't spell it differently all the time or whatever.
Keep people guessing, man. Keep people on their toes.
To be honest, I talk to him mostly about memes because it's fun to talk about memes with people who are like actually amazing and industry leaders at memes. So listen to us talk about memes if you don't hate me yet.
She's not that old, I've been told. A strong sexual goal. They go out every day. She goes every way, oh yeah.
I guess to get started, who are you for people who don't know?
Sunny Side Up on Instagram. I make music, I make memes, I make all kind of internet content that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, for sure. And so, does anyone know, your real name, or do you try to keep this, mystique about you? Because I couldn't even find a picture of you or anything. You're super mysterious.
Yeah, I try to keep it like that. It's better that way, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So how long have you been, doing this kind of stuff on the internet?
I would say I started, taking it seriously around, maybe October 2014. That's when I realized that I could maybe make something of myself on the internet.
How did you get started? What was the sort of the entry point for that kind of stuff?
The entry point, well, obviously Fuck Jerry.
Uh-huh.
So I was not best friends with him, but we were in the same friends group. We always hung out and had similar friends, So I don't know. I was just working on my social following, and I would just send him posts that I thought would be good for his page, and he used to post them and tag me.
Oh, sick! So that kind of made it pop off.
Yeah, that was the beginning. That was only until I got maybe 20,000 or 30,000 followers on Instagram.
Whoa. I remember I'm not super, super deep into it, but I feel like a lot of people some people don't like Fuck Jerry. Is that true? Is there some meme beef?
I think a lot of people don't like Fuck Jerry because, I don't know. I guess every person is their own person, but I think he's a cool guy, and I don't know. I think most of the memes that he posts are memes that are going viral, not really a meme that someone thought about for a career booster.
Right.
They're just kind of just one-offs. One guy got lucky and his tweet went viral. And I think that's the core of Fuck Jerry posts. So it's not really people sitting there making memes all day and then he takes theirs. It's really just some guy who got lucky. So I don't know if it really matters whether he credits them or not, because that person might not even care to have a following, probably, because they're not doing it all day.
Right. I mean, so do you actually make money from posting memes, or?
I mean, maybe it's not directly from posting. I mean, there's 1,000 different ways to make money in this world, So I guess if you have a lot of followers, there's always people hitting you up for random things that you could maybe make money from,
Yeah, for sure. And so, from following your pages, I've noticed you've made quite a few Blink-182 memes. But before we talk about Blink-182, I was listening to your SoundCloud and it's completely not like that at all. So I guess what's your like musical background and how did you wind up making the music that you make today, which is, I guess, would you say it's hip hop?
It's really like all over the place. Most of my songs are a different genre. None of them are really cohesive, you know? I'm more just like making stuff and just putting it out. I'm more like, my goal for music is more to be like a producer with other artists, more like a collaborative producer, as opposed to just making one genre and making albums, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So I try to just make everything that I like and just put it out. I don't really think about everything sounding the same, you know?
Yeah, for sure. So did you like grow up going to punk shows or anything, or?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I grew up in Brooklyn, and there wasn't that much stuff there until I was maybe like 13 or 14. But yeah, I grew up going to all kinds of... In high school, I was really into like screamo and emo.
Yeah.
But even before high school, probably in like middle school, I was really into Blink-182 and all kinds of more like punky bands, I guess.
Cool. So I guess like even now, what did you take from that upbringing into your life now that you still like apply to what you do?
Well, I always try to throw in some emo memes or some Blink-182 memes here once in a while here and there, just because I know there's people who fuck with it, and there's not that many people posting those kind of memes really on a big account, at least like mine.
Yeah, for sure. Because like it's super weird. I guess memes are like this in general, but like there's kind of a fine line between irony and sincerely appreciating something. But I think a lot of people, including myself, think that Blink-182 is funny, but also like really cool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think they're hilarious. I do think they're like the dumbest band, but I still really like them.
You had told me that Enema of the State was your like go-to album. What are some memories you have of that, and like where did you first hear it?
I probably first heard it maybe in like summer camp in New Jersey or something. I think like my counselor was passing around the CD to some kids, and it was like fucking sick. I think it was fucking Dude Ranch. So Enema of the State, probably, I can't say when I remember listening to it, honestly, first listening to it, but I probably first listened to I probably first saw the What's My Age Again music video and was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then we saw like All the Small Things video, which was like, oh my god, they're making fun of Backstreet Boys, that's so funny.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the same sense of humor of like early 2000s Blink is currently on the internet now.
Yeah, it's just like spitting itself out again. It's like all the people who thought that was funny 10 years ago, they're like laughing at it, but they're laughing at the fact that they laughed at it before, but it's funny again. I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
It's just a never-ending cycle.
It's like a swirling toilet bowl.
Yeah, just keep going.
How do you feel about... Do you think Tom is crazy, or do you think he's onto something?
I don't think he's crazy. I do think maybe he's onto something. I don't necessarily believe all like the alien stuff, but I do want to, and I do. I am like honestly listening to him. I'm not just like making fun of him. I actually think that he knows something that we don't, maybe.
Yeah, because like he wouldn't be working with all those big ass like CIA people and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be something going on. I remember when I really started to believe it was like a year ago, I think it was. Like something happened. There was like leaks, and there was like leaked emails with Tom DeLonge in correspondence with like Hillary Clinton's people about alien shit.
Wasn't that like on WikiLeaks or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually never talked about that on the podcast, but that's fucked. And also, he was talking to Podesta, who was like the Pizzagate guy.
Yeah.
Like, so, fuck. Maybe Tom's in Pizzagate too.
I don't know. I don't even know what that is, but.
Oh God! Well, don't look it up. You don't want to know.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I hope so he has this whole thing where he's trying to like get these messages across to everyone. I'm trying to like maybe get his attention and see if he could like put me on as part of his like street team and trying to just spread the word about aliens.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Like, I feel like you get it. Like, you have the same vibe as me, where it's like, obviously, Tom's a funny guy, but he's not like Like, he must know what he's talking about. He risked everything for this.
Yeah, like, I was pissed that he left Blink-182 until I heard what he was doing. Then I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So do you
like
how do you feel about California?
California, the album?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was when I first heard about it, I thought it was gonna be shit, and then when I listened to it, I actually enjoyed it. You know?
Right.
I thought obviously I would rather Tom in the album, but at the end of the day, it's better than no Blink-182 album. It still sounds like Blink-182, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair assessment, I guess.
Like it's not the best album, but I'll take it over like the last album that I had before that with Tom was horrible.
Oh yeah, Neighborhoods. You're not a fan?
I mean, like I listened to it again recently. I was like, okay, this is kind of good, but the way the recording is, you don't really hear. Like Travis didn't really like go crazy. He kind of sounded more like a Angels on Airwaves type of vibe.
Yeah, that's true.
And his drums were kind of just like, I guess they sounded more just like robotic, not really like cool fills and just like not really all over the place. It was just like a different vibe.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I mean, how do you feel the vibe is on Mutt, which is the song we're here to talk about? Like, what do you think?
The Mutt, I don't know. It's like a super like sneaky. It's kind of like a sexy vibe, kind of like talking about. I don't know. I my favorite part about this song is that it was in the movie American Pie.
Right.
And they were in it too.
Yeah, I was reading about that. If I'm being honest, I've never watched American Pie all the way through.
Yeah, man, that was like in middle school. That was like the best movie in the world. That's like the super bad for like 10 years before, you know?
Yeah, totally. But like, can you explain this scene? Because I honestly don't get. They're like live streaming from a girl's room or something.
This dude somehow like figured out how to live stream him with this girl. And they were just like hanging out, and then I think he jizzed like really like 2 minutes into it, and then everyone was like, "Oh, come on!" And basically like the whole school, and including Blink-182 saw it, and they were like, "Wow."
Yeah, like, but like, why? I don't understand why Blink-182 is like in some teen kid's room watching, like.
And they were chilling. They were chilling with a monkey too.
Yeah, like if you see the whole movie, does any of that make sense or?
I forgot how they tied it in somehow. I think they might be like I think they were chilling at one of the parties too, like a band at one of the parties or something. I don't remember what it was, but it somehow made sense at the time. But it was like the coolest thing. It was like, wow, my favorite band is in this movie and this song, and it was just like I don't know. Like the lyrics are a little don't really make that much sense, but
yeah, I was reading about the lyrics today. And probably, like, this goes at the end of the episode. We'll probably have talked about the lyrics a bunch by now. But it like, Tom was saying that they don't really mean anything. They're just about, like, two people that love to have sex a lot.
Right. But he kept saying that his pants are super tight. Like, he's never having sex. I thought that's what that meant.
Oh, like, how do you mean?
Like, it says his pants are super tight. They go out every night. His pants are super tight. So they go out every night. And she's ready to blow him, but he's just, like, too scared to try to do it, I guess.
Right, yeah. I mean, when I first heard this song, when I first, like, thought about the lyrics of this song, I thought that Tom was being, like, kind of homophobic. Like, I remember in the 2000s saying people had tight pants was, like, a way of calling them gay or something.
Really?
And then he said that, like, the dude likes to go on his bike with no seat on it. So, I don't know. I thought that it was like maybe I don't know, because like the weird thing about Blink-182 is that, and we've talked about this a lot, like some of their old lyrics are very like offensive in today's standards.
Are they?
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about like
there's a lot of like gay and faggot or something.
Yeah, or like saying like I need a girl that I can train is like pretty like, shitty.
It's like it's like the most sexist song in the world.
Yeah, but then looking at this one, it's like kind of like not. It doesn't really seem super. It just seems like he's just describing people who like to bone a lot.
I got from it that like she's basically a slut and he's a pussy, but he's trying to fuck her. But he basically they go out every night and he pays for everything. But he's too scared to actually bone her.
I mean, it could be. Apparently, he wrote this song about his like old roommate who was a professional surfer who like got laid a lot.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I read. But fuck, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to imagine a band like writing these lyrics in this day and age.
Yeah, I think I've like probably watched almost every YouTube video of them talking on Blink-182. And I actually saw, did you see that thing, that Tom DeLonge thing? I think it was this summer, or maybe it was last summer, like the Ernie Ball thing.
Yeah. Pursuit of Tone.
Yeah, that thing was like so in depth. That thing was like crazy.
Dude, that was actually like when I first started to realize that I like Tom the best.
Yeah.
Because he's so likable in it.
Yeah, and he's also just like so honest. He's like, you know, I love doing punk stuff, but I don't want to do that. Like, I'm not a punk anymore, you know. I'm older. It just doesn't feel right, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add about the song?
The song. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, I think it was fucking sick that it was in that movie and they were in the movie. And it also says songwriters Scott Raynor.
Yeah,
So
well, actually, I found a video of them playing this on the Australian TV show before Scott was kicked out.
Yeah, I actually seen that one too. So it looks like he wrote it. You think he recorded the drums as well?
No, I heard that Travis recorded all the drums for Enema in like one day. But I think he must still get, because Travis didn't get a writing credit on this album, so I think he missed out on a bunch of royalties.
Right, probably.
So, but yeah, like, what drummer do you like better, and what era of Blink is the best, according to Sunny Side Up?
Like, honestly, for me, the best, like, thing to come out of Blink-182 that would never be, like, bad to me is, like, Boxcar Racer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's, like, probably I consider it a Blink-182 album. It's really not, but it's, like, it's kind of just like Blink-182 without Mark, which is just like all the emo stuff, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So it was like a super like kind of hardcore vibe, East Coast vibe, more just like a little more down tempo. I don't know. I definitely like Travis better than Scott, but Scott was pretty good too, you know?
Yeah. What do you like about Travis better?
Travis just has those fills. He just, I don't know. He's like just a sick drummer. His drumming kind of just doesn't sound like what a normal like pop punk drummer would play during the time that he's playing it, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's more of like a superstar.
He's like extra, but I like it.
Yeah, for sure. Walk me through like making a meme, and like how long do you usually spend on one meme? Is it just like a quick idea that pops into your head, or do you think about it for a while?
Sometimes I have an idea and I don't know how to make it into a meme, so I'll just like keep it at the back of my head, and then it'll maybe take a few weeks for me to actually figure out how to format it. But most of the time, if I get an idea, it could take from like 5 minutes to like 10 minutes the most to make it.
And like, do you have a specific sort of like is there a specific kind of meme that you prefer towards a different kind? Like, do you prefer like wordplay or just like a dumb picture, or?
I don't know. I definitely appreciate someone who has a little bit of like production skill. Yeah. And I like seeing when people will make a meme and they'll, most of the times people like use the same format over and over. And I do that a lot too, just because that's what works most of the time. But I love when people will just make a new format and then just completely like change it up, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that like, for example, everyone's won't shut up about Tide Pods lately. Do you think that like Tide Pods like secretly marketed that into existence through memes? Like, is it like some marketing campaign or something?
No, it's more just like there's always memes about like people drinking bleach like because they want to die and shit like that. And I've probably seen a few Tide Pod memes like 5 years ago. But I think the laundry detergent one didn't pop off as well as the Tide Pod one did, because the Tide Pod, it just sounds funny, like Tide Pod. Yeah. I don't know. It just like it's like a little cute pouch, you know. It just works better.
Yeah.
Like bleach is so like general and like, you know, just it's like pour yourself a cup of bleach, you know.
Yeah, but like so when memes like that blow up, are you a snob about it? Like, do you get sick of them? Are you waiting for that new?
Yeah, I'm definitely sick of them. As soon as it turns into a thing, I'm sick of it, because I like it better when there's just like, obviously just like a one-off, you know, when someone can make a meme that has nothing to do with any other meme.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, I mean, you got to do what you got to do. If you have a good idea with the Tide Pod, do it. But I would say by now it's like pretty expired.
Yeah, fuck. Do you follow Mark Hoppus on Twitter?
I don't think so, no.
He's always like, we've made fun of him before because he's always like I would say about 3 months ago he made a Harambe joke on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I would imagine he's late on the jokes. Like, yeah.
I don't know. I guess at the same time, some people just can't be posting all day or looking at everything all day. But
yeah, definitely not. Like everything, all the memes he probably sees are like 3 months old from his son or something.
Yeah. What's with the fried egg that you use as your watermark?
I don't know. It just works, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to make. Well, basically, my name was Sunny Side Up first place on SoundCloud, and then I was like, well, I need to fucking make artwork for music now because that's what you have to do for the internet. So I just started making. I mean, like my friend took a picture of one of those little gummy eggs, and she was just like holding it in her hand, and she took a cool picture and she posted it on Instagram. So I used that. I obviously asked her, but I used that for like my first artwork on my first song.
Yeah.
And then little by little, like all the artwork that I had, I just tried to add eggs into it just because my name was Sunny Side Up.
Right.
And then when I started making memes, I thought it was a little cheesy to put like the @ Sunny Side Up on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know. Sometimes I did it. Sometimes I put the @ Sunny Side Up on it, but I tried to just put the egg on it just because, like, if you know what it is, you know, and if you don't, then it's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really sneaky. Although I've seen a bunch of people comment like, "Why the fuck is there an egg on this meme?"
Yeah, and I love that. I love the comments. I always like the goal on Instagram is to get comments. So at the end of the day, I'm just gonna do dumb shit just to get like comments for no reason. You know?
Yeah, totally. Cool, man. Well, I guess finally, like, do you want to plug anything? You have anything coming up or anything you want to tell us about?
Nah, not really. Well, we do have. Me and my friends made this app called Momus. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
It's this app called Momus Meme Studio. So it's basically like a template-based meme app. Do you know that dude, Adam the Creator?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been working with him and a few other people. He designed it. He like made this whole app with Tank Sinatra.
Okay.
So I've been working with him like pretty much all summer and the past few months trying to make it the app like the best it could be, like all the things I would use in it, you know, nothing I wouldn't use, like the best meme app you could possibly make.
And it's out now?
So, yeah, it's called Momus. We dropped it like a week ago. And yeah, it's like a template-based meme app. We're going to always be updating new templates, and it's just made for people who don't really know how to do anything. It's just super simple, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's what's cool about memes, and sometimes people are like kind of snobby about them, and there are definitely a lot of bad memes out there, but it's also like it's very democratized. Like anyone can make a joke, and it's usually funnier than what you'll see on TV or something.
Exactly. Like they just made it for like a lot of smaller accounts that are like dank. A lot of them were like angry that we made the app because it's like, oh, we wouldn't even make those kind of memes because they're like meme snobs, you know. But this isn't really for like the dank meme lords, you know. They already know how to do that. This is for people who like really don't know anything how to make memes or anything like that.
Right. I mean, in a way, it's like kind of like punk rock. Like it's for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. All you really have to do to make a meme is just post a picture on Twitter and with words on top and screenshot it. But for some reason, it doesn't always come out to the perfect square the way you want it. The words are always like, you know?
Yeah.
So we just made it so that every time it looks perfect.